HHS. Looks
Man,
like
it's a crazy world. I'm working like crazy. I was watching Brother Albert's Trinity debate,
uh-huh.
preparing for Theology 101, and my notifications are blowing up, and I was like, "What is going on?" And then I felt like somebody told me I couldn't certainly know mathematical addition. So here we are. So I don't. This is wild.
Yeah, yeah. So kind of the purpose behind this is just to have a quick discussion between Smokey and HHS, and we're gonna start spreading up the stream here in a second. Let me just get situated. I was getting situated. Um, but yeah, we're live. We're live. How you guys
Yeah,
doing?
man. I'm like I said, it's crazy to be here. Another unplanned stream by HHS. Uh,
Yeah, right.
I'm
It's
telling you, I
kind of
got a new
crazy.
systematic theology book that I'm really excited about covering its section on the Trinity.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to you, Kelvin. Great to see you. And I just was like, I was working on. I was like, oh man, this would be great to read on stream. And people will like it. And yeah, man. I'm always about education and stuff. And then I saw, some of the things I saw, and I was just like, what? What is going on in this world? But we smile, we laugh, and we go forward, man. And it's just kind of a crazy day. But hey, it is
When
what it is.
Smokey, if you are here, so this is gonna be just for context, a discussion between HHS and Smokey the Saint, and we're gonna be talking about something we covered yesterday that he challenged HHS on. I'm just gonna try to be as neutral of a party as I can be, but there's a couple of people who want to hop on and talk to. Sorry, there's a couple of people who wanted to talk to Smokey after the fact if he's still available. So I'm not saying that he will be, but if he's still available on this topic. But yeah, we just kind of went live to kind of do this. We always love to kind of share as much as possible live. So whenever Smokey gets in here, I'm gonna go ahead and share the stream link so that we can get going. Um,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, but the topic, why don't you go ahead and introduce the topic while I get try to alert him.
Yeah. So okay. So let me give some backstory. How about that? We give some backstory. So I
Sure.
believe it was yesterday. It all kind of blends together with my work schedule. Guys, forgive me if it was the day prior or whatnot. But very recently, in the last 2 days, I was talking to an EO brother, and we were talking. He brought up this thing about certainty. Now we're both Christians, so I asked him, did he certainly know? I thought this was a softball, but I asked him, did he certainly know that the Theotokos was in heaven? He said he didn't know with certainty because you can't have full certainty as a person. So then I said, okay, well, do you have certainty that Jesus is in heaven? And he said, no. And I'll clip this later, guys. It's clipped on, I think Steve Christie, Born Again RN, has a small clip of this up. But now
Uh-huh.
I have to clip it. I wasn't trying to clip the interaction, but now I have to since somebody else is trying to piggyback. So he said, no, he couldn't for certainty know that Jesus was in heaven. I was really taken aback by that. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But then I said, okay, can someone know with certainty that two in math? I didn't say in mathematical addition, but that was implied. Can someone know it with certainty that 2 + 2 = 4? And he said no, if I remember correct. And I said, wait a minute, what? Like, so what do you mean we can't with certainty know that 2 + 2 = 4? And so I'm assuming that Smokey's going to join at some point, and I refuse to talk about religion with him because he's not a religious person. See, me and the Christian, we had an understanding of divine revelation. We each agree on 66 books. That's why I'm shocked if he says something like Jesus is not in heaven, right? Because I'm like, if you say you don't know that for certainty, like I'm getting kind of weirded out as if you're a Christian. But if you're saying, hey, if you want to come over here and tell me we can't certainly know 2 + 2 = 4, I'm down. We're gonna have a discussion about that. And that's what I'll talk about. I'm not going to talk about worldviews unless he's open to having his discussed a little bit because I'd have some questions I'd really love to know.
All
But
right,
that's what
Smokey,
it is.
how you doing? By the way,
Oh,
we are
so
not adding anyone else in here. This is going to be a closed discussion for now until the discussion's over. Then we'll add just to keep it distracted. So if anyone else is joining, It's not meant for everyone right now.
All good. Cool. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Um,
no
I'm gonna
worries.
add just Sword as an observer. So he's gonna come. He wants to ask questions after the discussion. But I'm just gonna
Yeah,
as an
I
observer.
mean, I don't care. Like, whatever you want to even like open it up a little bit after or what. I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't.
after the fact.
Yeah.
So yeah, just so Sword doesn't feel left out and rejected. I want him to
Yeah,
Nah,
feel
it's all good. I like being rejected.
accepted and loved.
yeah.
All
I
right.
don't like I don't like love anyways.
So let's just set the context. I think behind this is talking about the nature of knowledge, infallibility, and certainty um, between the in the context of the discussion we had yesterday, which was between the Eastern Orthodox folks and the Christians. So I think Smokey will let you lead, and basically you can
Well,
pose
let me
your
level set. Let me level
okay.
set
Go ahead,
first
go ahead.
because of
I'll let
what
you
I'm
guys
willing
lead.
to go to. Yeah, what I'm willing to go to because so Smokey does not agree on divine revelation from his, if I'm not mistaken, atheistic position. So the
Not
caller
really
yesterday.
atheist, but okay, that's fine.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to misrepresent you.
It's more local agnostic, universal
Agnostic.
theist. But it's not really what I'm here to discuss anyway. So
Okay, no problem. So the caller the other day said we could not know anything for certain, and so my biggest thing is that I asked him that I definitely want to kind of launch us with is I said, in mathematical addition, can we know for certain that 2 plus 2 equals 4? And that's where I want to start today. Because the caller stated we could know nothing for certain. So would you agree that we cannot certainly know that 2 plus 2 equals 4 in mathematical addition?
yeah, that's kind of like what I was hoping to broach is that it's really a bad way to approach with opening with epistemology, like is to just kind of take this descriptive aspect of local reality and use it as some sort of method of infallibilism, because that's not really about epistemology. Like your
Well,
best claim at 2 plus 2 equals 4 is based upon generally axioms,
no, it's
about
based
your
on the reality
reality.
of the world I'm in. Is
That's
there
what,
another world that you
right,
can
right,
tell
right,
me
right.
about where 2 plus 2 doesn't equal 4?
That's sense perception.
No,
So,
it's not
so
sense
since,
perception. That's a law of reality. It's
but
not
it's
just what I
still,
perceive. Everybody universally affirms 2 plus 2 equals 4.
well, yeah, but again, this is at the local epistemological level, relating what you see as local and consistent in reality. And you don't know that tomorrow 2 plus 2 won't equal 4, but you do axiomatically accept that since it has always been that way, it will be that way tomorrow.
No,
And
that's not actually. Hold on, hold on.
you don't
You
even
said that
know
I
that it
don't know
always
tomorrow
was
will hold
that
that.
way.
Hold on. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
wait. We don't know that in the world of Earth that 2 plus 2 didn't always equal 4.
What I'm
Let
saying
me make
is,
sure I get that last point straight. No, can you just because you just said I don't always know that's the way it was. So
I'm
was
saying
there a time period in Earth where 2 plus 2 did not equal 4?
I'm not making any claim positive or negative to that. I'm talking about the basis of the ability to know that. I'm not talking about which propositions are true or not true. I'm talking about the method of which to know what is true. That is so, like
Yeah, but
that's
we're
not
talking. Okay,
really.
so if I can't certainly know anything, can I certainly know that 2 plus 2 equals
Well,
4?
what do you mean by certain?
Well, is 2 plus 2 equals 4 infallible?
Well,
These are
no.
all terms
I
you're
need
throwing
to
at me.
understand terms. So like I need to understand like which philosophical definition of certainty. Like, are you talking about like
I'll say it's
Cartesian
infallible.
certainty?
No, it's infallible. There's
Okay.
never a
Okay.
time on
Perfect.
this
Okay.
earth where 2 plus 2 will not equal 4. It's
Okay.
right yesterday. It's
So
going to be right tomorrow on this earth.
I'll reframe it a little bit then, and this will help, I think, kind of make the point, especially since you brought up sense perception, because you're like, you see that you're part of reality, you accept that reality is real, and therefore you draw conclusions and propositions off of that acceptance. So, would you say the sky is objectively blue? Like the sky is blue,
Well, hold on.
absolutely
I
blue.
want to stick to. I want to stick to math. Would I say
I
in
know
that
you
math and
do
2 plus 2 equals
because it
4?
muddles the argument. I
No, nothing
entertain your
muddled. See,
math.
I don't like when people poison the well. The
I'm
literal
not
example I
poisoning the
gave the
well. It's
caller. Hold
just
on. The literal example I gave the person on the call yesterday was what I just gave you. I didn't
okay.
change anything.
Discussing whether or not a proposition is true has nothing to do with the methodology used to discover its truth. This is what I
Okay,
keep
so the
trying
point is
to
right. The
draw
person
you
told
into
me I
the.
couldn't know anything with certainty. I couldn't
Right.
know anything infallibly.
Right.
So I
Because
asked them,
you're
can
a
I
fallible
infallibly know
agent.
2 + 2 = 4? That's what I
You're a,
asked. Can you tell me? Is the yes? Are
you
you saying
can't.
no? I can't.
Okay. So so God isn't the only one that's infallible, right?
You mean that's the only one infallible 100% of the time, or do you mean that God is the only one that can say something infallible? Like, this is a very serious
I
question
would say
because
God
I
is
would say it's infallible that
okay.
2 + 2 = 4, and that's
Is
me.
God the only objective agent?
What do you mean by objective agent?
So he's the only one that can perceive things objectively. Everyone else is subjective and prone to their own fallible subjective reasoning. Would you agree that there's a category there?
Well, I would agree that God is definitely unique in his all-knowing nature, especially considering he created everything. But I'm not sticking to religion because you're
Okay.
not religious. I want to
Okay.
know about my question. Is
Well,
2
I'm getting
+
there.
2 = 4 an infallible statement?
Only in the local realm. And by the way, only at the level that you can perceive.
Well, as a person who's not a believer
And
in,
an
well, you're
example
unique.
of that is how different things operate in classical mechanics and quantum mechanics.
Yeah,
There's a
but we're not
completely
talking about
different
quantum mechanics. We're
set
talking
of
about mathematical addition.
no, actually we're talking about your perception of mathematics,
So
which by the way
mathematical,
is
okay,
through
great,
a
perfect.
language that you've constructed.
So let me get
So
this straight. So hold on, let me get this straight. My perception is the only thing at play in mathematical addition.
well,
Nobody else is perceiving this in the world. Is
your
that what you're saying?
perception is the base of everything that you
Wait,
believe,
wait.
which you accept
So
axiomatically,
hold on.
which
Nobody else
can't be
perceives this.
justified,
So
which can't
am
be
I the only
justified.
one that perceives 2 +
It
2 =
doesn't
4?
matter.
What
These
do you
could
mean it
all be
doesn't matter? It's the law of
well,
reality.
let me tell you. No, it's not. You don't even know what a law of reality is if you just said that. That's not a law
So
of
wait, so
reality.
mathematics bends in reality. Oh, wait.
Your perception of
Mathematics
reality.
bends.
Mathematics is a descriptive language about constants in reality through the
Yeah, we're
local
talking about
perception that
mathematical
we can
addition. I
see.
was very clear in my question.
Okay, you
Mathematical
want to
addition
keep
bends.
going to this math thing, which is all about whether or not a proposition is true, has nothing to do with whether or not we can know it with certainty based upon the axioms we accept.
Well, it has
Because
everything
we're
to do with it if you
fallible.
can't tell me when it's going to change. Like, so for example, if you say, listen,
I'm
is
not
your
talking about it
perception that
changing.
mathematics of the mathematical addition 2 + 2
Okay,
= 4 is your perception? So I just want to
let's
know
try
when it's
this.
going to change. Like, I
Let's
can't
try
believe we're
this.
actually having
How
this
do you know
conversation.
it's not going to change? How do you know it's not going to change? Let's try that.
How do I know that the law of addition will not change?
Correct.
It's because it's consistent in reality. It's grounded in reality.
So you're using epistemology to determine that, right?
Well, okay, let's try this. Now I answered your question. Tell me, how do you know when
Well,
the
you
law of
didn't answer
addition will
my
change?
question.
I did. You said, how do I
No, you
know it?
didn't. You're using epistemology to
I
do that,
cannot
right?
use the status of reality to demonstrate
You're
something.
not answering my question. Are you
I'm
using
literally answering your
epistemology to
question.
figure that out?
I'm using the actual consistent laws of this world.
You're still not answering my question.
That's
Why are you
literally an
not?
answer to this
Okay.
question.
I guess you're just, no, it's not. It's really simple.
Hold on. So I can't actually relate a fundamental truth of existence?
Are you using epistemology to come to that
I'm
conclusion that
using
the
the
laws of
fundamental
mathematics won't
demonstration
happen
of
to?
reality.
Is that
It's a mathematical law.
epistemology? Is that epistemology?
Bro, this is crazy, bro. I don't know how many times I
Why
have to
can't
tell
you
you.
answer the
I'm
question?
literally answering your question.
You're
It's a
not.
does mathematics have
Yes
laws?
or no? Is it
Wait.
epistemology
Hold on.
you're
Do
using or not?
mathematics have laws? Just tell me. Do
Oh my
mathematics
gosh.
have laws?
Do you mind restating the question, Smokey?
Yeah. Are you using your epistemology to figure out that mathematics have laws?
No, I'm using reality.
So what, you see math, you see numbers floating in the air?
Wait. What do you mean I? Wait. What do you mean I?
How do you,
There you go again. What do you
are
mean I?
you using,
That's a question. What do you mean I?
because you can only rely on your own sense perception,
So wait.
but you're
I am the
not
only
getting.
one. Hold on. I am the only one in reality who thinks 2 + 2 = 4.
That's not the point.
That's
You
not
could be. You could be. Everyone else could be a simulation. You could be a
Then
brain
show
in a
it to me.
vat. You
Show
could
me
be.
the perfect.
You could
Show it to
be
me.
inside a wizard's dream.
Show it to me then. Show me the person in
You
reality who
can
doesn't
only
agree.
verify which was in the limits of your own sense
Show me a person
perception,
in reality then
and
who
that is
agrees with you.
fallible. And that is
Show me.
fallible.
This is what I hate. Show me in reality a person who says 2 + 2 = 4.
Dude, you're not
Show me.
getting it.
No, you're not getting it. You trying to pin everything on me when math is observed
Okay.
by the entire world, bro.
All right. Would the sky still be blue?
Mathematical addition
See, here's
is
the thing. Does
observed by
everyone
the
agree
entire
that the
world.
sky's blue? Of course they do.
Bro,
Would they
mathematical
still
addition is
agree if they
observed
could
by the
see
entire
infrared?
world. Just trying
Would
to
they-
talk over me won't change anything.
Everyone's
Mathematical
agreement-
addition is universally agreed upon. Mathematical addition is one of the most
consensus,
unchallenged things I've ever heard in my life, bro. Are you joking?
First of all, consensus is not a method to truth. That's laughable that you even said that at all.
Yo,
But I'll let
denying
it
1
slide.
plus 1 equals 2
I'll
is a
let it
denial
slide.
of reality because you can't demonstrate anything else.
You
All
can't
you keep doing is asking me
answer.
how. I did answer you.
Okay.
It's a observable law
Yeah,
of reality.
no. Dude, that's not a thing.
Oh
That's
my
not a thing. You're using
Are
an
you breathing?
axiom
Are you
to even
breathing?
say that.
Are you breathing? Are you breathing right now?
Do you know what an axiom is?
Are you breathing right now?
Do you know what an axiom is?
Are you breathing right now?
Oh gosh. I have a justified true belief that I'm breathing right now.
So you don't know if you're breathing?
No, I have a justified true belief. I'm not infallible. I'm not God. You seem to think you are.
You don't know if you're breathing. That's amazing.
I have
That's
a justified true belief. Do you know what that means?
Yes, I know what it means. You believe based on reality that you're breathing, but you don't know you're breathing. Okay, great. That's all I needed. I want to hear that. You don't know you're breathing.
I accept that my base level of epistemology has to be either axiomatic, reductive, or circular. Therefore, cannot be definitively and infallibly verified. And since every proposition after that is built off of that axiom, that unjustified starting point, I can never know anything infallibly, and no fallible agent can.
So Matt, okay, perfect. So no fallible agent can declare 2 plus 2 will equal 4 infallibly.
Correct.
So in our world, everybody observing 2 plus 2.
Again, how do you know you're not in a simulation where that is the principal construct of the frame of which you've been placed?
Brother, hold on, time out. We're talking about observable reality.
Let me ask
and now you're asking me, how do I not know I'm in a simulation? I'm talking about knowing something unquestionably 2 plus 2 equals 4. And you're saying we can't know. So I can go everywhere and numbers don't actually mean what they mean.
Because you can't even know if you're inhibiting a real reality. You have to trust an axiom to do that. And everything.
So let me get this
and
straight.
You judging 2 plus 2 equals 4 is based on that unjustified axiom.
I'm judging 2 plus 2 equals 4. It's not observed. It's not observed and testable. Is it testable?
Dude, again, you're having to use a bunch of epistemology and axioms to get there. Is it
testable? Can you just answer my question?
You don't get to just claim I'm in reality.
Is 2 plus 2 equaling 4 testing? I don't care what you say. Is it testable
it's an
or not,
axiom.
Bro,
it's an
answer
axiom.
my question. I hate when people do this. Is 2 plus 2 equals 4 testable?
Based on your axioms you've accepted?
What do you mean based on my axioms? Are you joking?
Dude, how are you not following this? You have axioms you accept.
This is what you step into, guys.
Okay.
When you get to here.
Before you even get to 2 plus 2 equals 4, you have the axiom that you exist. You have the acceptance that you are in reality.
We don't exist.
That you cannot prove, that you cannot definitively
I can't prove we exist by talking to you on the internet. That makes perfect sense, bro. I can't even prove I'm breathing, bro.
I'll tell you what. Is any of your doctrine infallible? No, hold on. Is any of your doctrine infallible?
Is any of my doctrine infallible? I told you, I want to know about math, bro.
Oh,
can you tell me is my math not infallible?
You just run.
I've never run. I literally, that's the question that got us here, bro. I hate liars like you, bro. The question that got me here.
I'm trying to get to your base axioms and you keep running.
No, I'm not running anywhere. My base axiom is mathematical addition. Nobody's run anywhere. I even put that in the title, bro.
Oh my God, that's not a base axiom. Man, you are so out of your depth. It's horrible, dude. This is so bad.
This is so bad. Yet you can't tell me if I'm wrong about 2 plus 2. You said 2 plus 2 equaling 4 is not something that's consistent in reality. Yet you can't demonstrate when it fails.
If your axioms are correct, sure, dude.
Just demonstrate it failing,
true belief from the
demonstrate
conclusion.
It fails, but now we can't test anything. We can't know anything. This is the most nonsense. You don't even know if you're breathing, and you think I'm the one looking stupid?
Wait, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What happened?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know.
Oh, Smokey, you still there?
I don't know how he defines any objective truth. He doesn't even know if he's breathing, bro.
Smokey, if you need the link again, just type in chat and I'll repost it. I would love for you guys to define your terms. Yeah, I can hear you. Okay.
Smokey talking?
I think Smokey might have dropped out or his connection might have failed. Something might have happened. He'll rejoin in a second. Um, but I would love for you guys to define your terms, if you
I
can,
have no
because
problem. He said axiom is a statement that's to be taken true, right? I'm
Mhm.
talking axiomatically about mathematical addition,
Okay,
which is 2 + 2 = 4. I don't know why this guy thinks I'm
okay.
getting embarrassed. Like, it's
So
crazy to me,
he
bro.
said his phone died, so he'll probably rejoin in a second or two.
No problem. I have no problem discussing what he wants, right? But I'm not going to let him change the topic to religion, because the statement that got us here was the guy told me I couldn't know infallibly that 2 + 2 = 4. I want somebody to demonstrate that. That's insane.
Um, yeah, and then I know a lot of you guys want to get in on this. I am just putting the link only because Smokey when he gets back. But I want HHS and Smokey to be able
Let me
to
put the link in my channel too,
get
because
it out.
somebody
Yeah.
asked me. So I'm going to drop the link in my chat too.
Um,
Just understand that,
yeah. So
Zon's show and everything.
when we talk about things like infallibility, certainty, epistemology, I know it sounds like we all know it, but just for the edification of the audience, I would love for us to define it. Just because I don't think everyone tracks along, and it'd be good if they can also understand what we're talking about. Otherwise, we're just sitting here talking about numbers. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, because that's the reason I want to talk about this, because that's the statement that got me here. Like, that's the
Mhm.
statement that got me here. Because I was told I could not certainly know that 2 + 2 = 4.
Yeah. Um,
That's what I was told. So, like, I'm just trying to see where is this, like. And then he said, I know axiomatically. Okay, so how do we know something's objectively true? So is nothing objectively true ever? Nothing? Not even him breathing is objectively true?
I think that some atheists do take a completely relativistic position, that nothing is absolutely true or objectively true. I don't know if Smokey takes that position, but I do know some people take that position, especially in postmodernism. Um,
Which
again,
is
I
the
don't want to.
consistent atheistic position, because that's what Hume led everyone to. If
Yeah.
you're a
Well,
consistent atheist, you have to be a nihilist.
Hmm.
yeah, so nothing is objective. Everything's just like some random hodgepodge of I don't know. That's asinine, bro.
As strange as
I
it
agree
is,
with you, by the way,
as
not just
strange
random.
as it is, I think what we have to start off as something as basic as what do we define truth to be? I know it sounds like we all agree on it, but we actually surprisingly probably
So
don't, you know?
I guess one thing that I'm hearing is that since we are battling for worldviews, what we are saying is that we both have presuppositions and axioms. The question is, how do we justify those axioms? Right? How do we justify these
Mhm.
necessary preconditions? Is there a worldview that's actually able to ground these axioms?
Yeah. And just for context, I think more of you guys joined. This came about because Smokey challenged HHS on the discussion that we had yesterday, and he said that uh something about let me not butcher it. A statement about infallibilism, if I'm pronouncing that properly, uh, was um, was not warranted, or it wasn't consistent, or something like that. Let me pull it up just so I'm not misrepresenting him. So that's the reason why we're having a kind of a closed discussion for now. Okay, so this is what he said. I heard you yesterday proposing a very bad epistemic position of infallibilism. I challenge you to a discussion on the nature of knowledge and your position. And so we are also discussing math here because part of the prompt involved 2 + 2 = 4. So the certainty
And I
and the
was told I
knowledge.
couldn't know that for certain.
Yeah, yeah. It's part of the prompt included that. That's why we're talking about math. All right. Hey, Smokey. Smokey, if you don't mind just taking some time just to define, just so the audience can just catch on. I know we know some of these things, but not everyone necessarily does.
Okay, sorry about that. I didn't even
No worries.
notice my phone was about to
No,
die. So, yeah,
nobody's looking at it negatively. Of course, I mean that happens to us all. No worries.
yeah.
Happens
Wasn't
to.
even paying attention. It's my bad. So anyway, I guess I don't know. Should I give my
Yeah, give him some
proposition
definitions
again?
and then
Or?
give him your core objection about infallibilism. So give him some definitions and then your core objection so that we can just get on track if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. So, uh, And according to which, I don't know which model people want to consider or adopt, but the Agrippa's trilemma or the Munchausen's trilemma, everyone's epistemic starting point is either reductive, circular, or axiomatic. Now, that's just the nature of us being fallible agents in a world with limited perception. We are subjective agents where only divine can be objective agent. Only the divine can see things as they truly are, while we filter things through subjective fallible mechanisms. So, since that's the case, to claim that we have the capacity to know anything infallibly is to claim the same objective perspective as the divine himself, therefore bordering close to blasphemy. So, we are subjective agents with fallible reasoning, fallible epistemology, fallible subjective views, and we can be wrong. Now, I could say, 2 plus 2 equals 4, and I have a justified true belief that is more likely true than not true. But that is still based at the very, very base level on some level of non-definitive, non-absolutist justification. It's based upon something that I just basically accept or don't have any definitive justification to prove. This is why things like hard solipsism are a problem in philosophy and draws to the point that there is a limit to which you can know anything. And it only goes beyond that starting point of reductive, circular, or axiomatic. Therefore, you cannot have the ability to infallibly know anything. But you can have high levels of confidence that something is true. But to reach the realm of infallibilism, one is to put yourself equal with God, and two, ignore the fact that you're a fallible subjective agent. So that's
Okay.
basically the main proposition. So,
Okay. So what was the objection to what H just said yesterday?
well, he seemed to be proposing this idea of absolute, definitive, infallible certainty that he could know a proposition infallibly with no possibility of being wrong. And that's kind of what I was challenging, was what mechanism he was using to justify an infallible epistemology. That's really where it was going.
Well, so in 2 out of the 3 statements, the divine was the source. And then the third statement was mathematics, which you could still argue the divine is the source. So I don't understand. Like, based on what you just said, if you're saying only the divine can truly know, and me and the other person each agreed on what divine revelation was, and I say that therefore we can know, what's the challenge?
Because you're still at some level using an unjustified starting point to get there. Therefore, the proposition can't be infallibly known.
Wait, hold on. You said only the divine can know something infallibly.
Correct.
We each agreed on what divine revelation was. Yet you're telling me even when the divine states
Well,
something plainly, we cannot know what that divine revelation is. Is that correct?
agreement doesn't dictate truth.
We're not talking about agreement. We're talking about a clear statement. Now we're presupposing we can't communicate. It seems like.
Well, we're presupposing that truth can't be definitely infallibly known.
Even by the divine?
No, the divine is the only objective agent. Everyone else is a subjective agent.
Right. So if the divine says something, can we know that is true? If we agree on the divine, by the way, I'm assuming me and the other person
that's
agree.
The thing. You would be using an epistemological pathway to get to the identity of the divine anyway, which is
fallible. No, and I'm saying we and the other person agree on the divine agent and divine revelation.
Agreement is irrelevant to the nature of what's true or not. Agreement is irrelevant.
Wait, but if you just said, okay, let's just walk this back for a second. Listen to what you just said. You just said only the divine can know truth. Right. So if the text in question is from the divine, objectively, if the text in question is literally the voice of the divine, we still can't know it.
You've used epistemology to get to that proposition, fallible epistemology to get to that proposition, so you can't know that infallibly.
So the divine cannot infallibly communicate with creation either, then, in your view.
The creation cannot infallibly interpret it. So
so I'm saying, so the divine cannot make sure that the creation gets the message. We cannot know even from the divine itself.
Well, I'll give you an example of how that is a problem too. Christ communicated perfectly in John 5:18 by calling himself the Son of God, that he was equal with God. And his audience, who even knew what that meant, still rejected it as a true proposition. So even with perfect communication, one can adopt a bad epistemology and ignore truth.
Well, if you don't believe, that's a whole nother story. But the point I'm making, hold on, wait. Let's take Moses though. Did Moses get communicated with effectively? Did Moses get communicated with effectively?
I would. Well, I'm assuming so. I mean, I have a justified true belief that that's fine, and for the context of this conversation,
Yeah, in
that
this
God
conversation, did he know
in,
correctly, infallibly? Moses.
infallibly,
Did Moses know infallibly?
Moses is not an infallible agent. So,
I didn't say he was an
well,
infallible. I said, did he know infallibly that was the
well,
divine?
well, he can't infallibly know anything because he's a fallible agent.
So no one
This
can
is
know anything infallibly, even when the divine
correct
tells you something.
because you're a fallible agent. Yeah.
So
Well, and
yeah,
even that,
no, hold on. I'm just making sure I get this.
even discerning that the divine is
No, wait a
talking
second. No,
to
slow down, slow down.
goes through your
I'm trying to
epistemology.
understand the divine. The only thing infallible cannot infallibly communicate anything.
How do you well see like it goes like this? How do you know Abraham was communicated with God and not
No.
just
Wait a
a
second.
higher
You just went to
intelligence
John 5.
pretending to be God?
You jumped into John 5. Now I'm in Exodus 3. What's the problem?
I'm actually I'm bringing up the Old Testament reference here. Like I'm
Yeah, I
talking
did too. That's why I went to
so
Moses. Could Moses know or no?
Moses cannot infallibly know any proposition because he's a fallible agent. He did have faith and trust.
So
And
when
by the
Moses said
way,
that's God, he didn't know that.
in a paradigm where faith is a thing, knowledge, the way that you're talking about it is nonsensical.
Right. So when
Um,
Moses said that's God in the bush, he wasn't sure.
okay. Do you believe God exists or do you know
Hold on,
God?
wait. I want to answer to my question. When Moses said that's God in the bush, he wasn't sure.
I didn't. That has nothing to do with it. I'm sure he was sure of that. That has nothing to do with whether or not he could know anything infallibly, as to
Yeah,
whether or not he
okay, if he
affirmed the
doesn't know
proposition.
infallibly, right, then he's not sure, right?
As to whether or not he affirmed the proposition is irrelevant to his capacity to know a proposition. You
So
keep
he
drawing
didn't know
back.
that was God in the bush. You just made an
You keep
assumption.
distracting back to this other
I'm
category.
not, man. I'm trying to understand Exodus 3, brother. I'm trying to actually
Dude,
understand what you're saying because you said
whether or
only the
not
divine can
Moses, okay,
communicate
here's the
infallibly.
thing.
So I'm asking, did Moses
Here's
know that was God in the tree, bro?
Moses affirmed it as a true proposition. However, Moses is a fallible agent incapable of infallibilism. Hence, by the way, the reason that God did show his power and demonstrate to him was because probably Moses didn't infallibly know it until after God did that and demonstrated himself to him. And
Okay.
even then didn't infallibly know it, but built trust over time with a higher level of probability of the proposition being true. Okay. None of this draws to an infallibility metric. None of it.
Okay, so I'm just trying to make sure I understand. When Moses said, because truth is truth regardless, right? So, but when Moses said that's God in the bush, he actually didn't know that was God in the bush.
That has nothing to do with what I'm saying. How are you not following me?
I'm trying to make sure that I clearly understand. That's why I'm asking this
All
question.
right. Did Moses? Okay, let me put it this way. All right, let's reframe it. Did Moses know God was in the bush, or did he believe God was in the bush?
Well, he said God was in the bush, right? That's what I read. He said that's God in the bush. Right?
So did he know or did he believe?
Well, I'm assuming he knew if he said that's God in the bush.
Oh, wow, man. So I guess all these words about belief in the Bible, these are just worthless.
I didn't say that, bro. Are we talking? Okay,
let me step in for a second.
Do you have to believe something that you
know,
or you just know?
Let me step in for a second. What do you mean by know versus belief? Like, can you make the clear distinction there so that we can all follow?
Yeah, well, actually, really, it's his paradigm that has that problem. Because to me, everything is a justified true belief with different metrics of confidence based upon value and epistemic warrant. That's how we operate as subjective, fallible agents in a reality that we can't see past our local sense perception.
Okay,
this is how we have to operate.
Okay, so how? What about the word no? How do you define the word no?
The highest level of confidence that a proposition is true.
Okay.
And by the way, we use no colloquially. Like I say, I know my wife loves me. Is that an infallible proposition? Of course not. Of course it's not infallible. But generally, epistemically, if you're a fallible agent, when you say you know, there's a maximum reach to which you can know something based upon the fact that you're a fallible agent and
that's
you're
even in your own existence, right?
to get
just to make sure I'm clear. Just to make sure I'm clear before Sword. Hold on, Sword. Just to make sure I'm clear, and I'll let Sword speak. You're telling me you don't even know that you exist.
Oh,
infallible. Like I'm just asking. Why are my questions being hit with these retorts. You want me to answer
Because,
questions.
dude, it's
Now
been
I'm asking questions.
explained like 5 times
Okay,
over, and
man.
you're
You know
just
what? I'm just
not
gonna mute up,
getting
bro.
it,
I
man.
tried to have
You're
like the
just
most
not
credible thing.
getting it, dude. I'm
I'll let
What was
Sword
the
sorry.
speak,
question
man.
again, HHS?
I
The,
asked him,
So
did he know? Could he be sure that he
I
existed? That's
have
what I asked him.
adjusted.
Is
Anytime you ask me, do I believe something or know
I didn't
something,
ask
the
about a
answer,
belief.
well, you've asked it several times. So let me
okay.
answer it again.
Can you
Okay, let me
infallibly
answer
declare
it
you
again.
exist? Let me try
Let me
that. Can
answer
you
it again.
infallibly declare you exist?
You asked me if I knew I was breathing, if I knew 2 + 2 is equal to 4. I've given you the same answer every time, and you keep ignoring it. So let me do it again. I'm gonna give it again to you. Okay, listen, please. I have a justified true belief that the proposition is more likely true than not. That's the answer. I'm sorry you don't like it. That is the answer.
So
what
you
is
would
your what
say,
is your standard that tells you it's more likely true than not?
Well, there is no absolute definitive standard. There's simply my epistemic warrant, which will be true and could be accurate. And I am needed to be in a state of epistemic humility to be able to know which one is the
So,
case.
so the statement that you just said,
I
it's more
need to be
likely true than
willing to
not.
admit I could be wrong.
Smokey,
Otherwise, I'm just going to be.
the statement that you
Well,
just said, it's more likely true than not, is self-refuting, right? Because you don't have a standard that tells you by which you can judge if it's more likely true than not.
I don't have an infallible standard. Doesn't mean I don't have a standard that's based upon confidence metrics and value metrics. And I
So
mean,
it's a subjective standard, which
it's
is no
not
standard
that
at all,
I
right?
have, yeah, I can't say I operate in reality because I have perfect epistemic warrant that it's all true and accurate, and that everything I see and perceive is true and accurate, and that everything I believe is true and accurate. I don't
Okay,
operate that way.
so you don't know.
I have to incorporate a value metric into that.
I
But
got a
we
real
all
quick,
question.
do
real
Okay,
this.
quick.
give me a
We
We
all
got
second.
a
do.
super chat. We got a super chat. Let me just read it out loud. If he can't be certain on anything by Leif, how can he have confidence in his estimation of how likely anything is? If he can't trust his own reasoning, he has zero business discussing a thing, assuming he even exists. You want to
Again,
respond to that?
it's
Okay,
the
Smokey,
same
can
answer
you
every time. You guys really are slow at this. It's the same answer every
smoke it?
time.
I
It's
got
a
a
Bro,
question.
we're
just.
slow, but you don't know two
Can,
plus two
can
equals
I
four, bro. Come
answer
on,
it?
bro. Don't
Can
call
I
me names
answer
while
it?
you answer, bro. Don't call me
Can I
names while you
answer
answer,
it?
bro. Don't call me names while you
I
answer.
didn't call you
Smoke it,
anything, dude.
Yeah,
smoke
where I
it,
come from, slow is an insult. I don't know if you know that. Maybe you honestly don't know that.
Well, man,
Smokey. I
I'm
got a
going to tell you
question.
what.
Smoke it. Give me 1 second. Give me
Can
one
I
second.
answer what's on the screen, dude? Can you calm
Oh, go ahead.
down?
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
let him get a
It's the
answer.
same answer every time. It's a justified true belief. Certainty doesn't have to come into it. To claim any level of certainty, you have to claim some level of infallibilism at some point on your epistemic pathway. You cannot do that. You are a fallible subjective agent. It's that simple. Everything is based upon justified true beliefs.
Okay, can I say something to that? You said
Go
so.
ahead.
You're
Yes.
saying you cannot know for certain, right?
Oh, yes. Sure. Yeah.
Are you certain of that?
No, I have a justified true belief that that is true. It's the same answer every time. You guys can try and reword it however you want.
Okay,
Again, the
Smokey, give me 1 second.
epistemic
You're talking
position
for a while.
is
Give
that
me one
everything
second. Give me 1 second. You're talking a lot. Okay, you said
did you not
I
just
can't know for
ask me a
certain.
question, dude?
Yeah, and you answered it. You said I can't know for certain. I asked you, are you certain of that? You said I'm not. So that phrase is self-refuting, right?
Oh my God. Did you hear what I actually said or no?
Yeah, I heard what you said. You
What
said
did
you
I
have
say?
no actual infallible standard
No,
that
I
tells you
didn't say that, dude.
anything
What
about
did I
certainty.
say? What did I say? What did I actually
When
say?
I'll tell you, I asked you about certainty. You said you cannot be certain. I asked you if you're certain about that. You said you're not certain.
I didn't say
So that
that.
is
I
self-refuting.
didn't.
Yeah, you did. You said you can know with the highest amount of
Okay,
knowledge,
you're not
but you
listening.
have
So
no
you're just going to
actual.
reword. You're just going to reword my words. So you're not an
Go,
honest
go
interlocutor.
ahead and say it. Go
I'll
ahead and say it.
remember
Go ahead
from
and
my
say
life.
it. Go ahead and say it.
Dude, if you can't even listen to know what I actually said, and then let alone steel man it and describe it before you answer it, you're not trying to do this
Okay,
honestly. You're
go
a
ahead and
waste of
repeat it.
time.
Go ahead and repeat it. Go ahead and
Did
repeat
you
it.
not hear it?
Go ahead and repeat it.
Are you
Let's
going to
hear it.
pay attention this time?
I'm listening very carefully. Go ahead.
I have a justified true belief that I can't be certain about anything.
Right.
Okay,
So you're
good.
not certain about the statement you just made, so it's self-refuting.
No, it isn't. It's a
Yes, it is.
justified true
It's
belief.
not justified at all. You just
Dude,
said,
you can't,
I
I
can't know for
cannot,
certain.
dude,
You just said,
dude,
I
you
can't know for
cannot
certain. And I
rely.
asked you, okay, let me talk. I let you talk. You said, I can't know for certain. I asked you, are you certain about that? You said, I'm not certain. I have a justified true belief. So you're not certain. So that is circular and self-refuting. So you don't know anything at all. So since you can't make any justified true statement, because Obviously, you're not certain about anything. You have no business dialoguing or debating anybody because your worldview collapses. Does Hume not actually say that? That you can't know anything at all?
Let me know when you're done.
Go ahead.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I can do is have justified true beliefs based upon my limited perception. That's it. So the idea that I come to the conclusion that I can't be certain about something doesn't require certainty. No part of the epistemic requires certainty. None of it. None of it. It's all based upon a justified true belief. You're trying to shoehorn it in,
Are you
demand
certain of that?
demand there to be a infallible proposition held at some point in epistemology that is purely about beliefs,
You just
probabilities,
made a universal
likelihoods
statement.
of
Are you
something
certain of
being
that?
true, not true, based upon value metrics. That has nothing to do with it, dude. You can keep asking it over and over again. It has nothing to do with what
Because
I'm
it's
actually talking
circular
about.
and self-refuting. Do you not see
Dude,
it? You keep
your
making
every
universal statements.
epistemology is circular, reductive, or axiomatic. How are you not following that?
Yeah, but
This is
yours is
just a fact
self-refuting.
of philosophy.
Yours is
I have a
self-refuting.
justified
You
true
make
belief that
universal
we are
statements.
fallible agents and can't know anything infallibly.
Okay,
That's a
is that
justified
statement
true belief.
is that statement infallible?
It's a justified true belief. I believe
Is
it
that
could be
yeah?
false.
So
The
it's
point
No,
is
but
that
you're
I use
self-refuting.
my
okay. Okay, hold on.
epistemology to believe it's
So
more
it's
likely
Wait,
true
self-refuting.
but
than not
your
true.
your justified true belief is that you can't be certain in anything. That's what you
Oh my
said.
God. Are
Exactly.
you
No,
So
guys
I'm
it's
just,
certain?
self-refuting.
bro. All I'm doing is
Yeah.
quoting you because I wanted you to know we were listening this time. I'm not trying to interrupt. I
All
just
right.
want to quote what you said. That's
Are you
it. I'm
certain
gonna go
God
back to mute.
exists? Are you certain God
Yes, I am.
exists?
Yes, I am. I have now.
Okay, then
Let
what
me
do you
just
need
let me,
belief
bro.
for?
Let me just quote what
What
you
do you need
said, bro.
faith and belief
Why do you
for
need to
then?
interrupt me every time I start
What do you
talking,
need
bro?
faith and
Why do
belief
you
for
need
then?
to interrupt me when I start talking, bro? I'm not.
Take
I'm
your time.
trying to go back to mute. Would you be quiet for 2 seconds? Okay, the quote was just to make sure so he knows we were listening. I have a justified true belief that I can't be certain about anything. Now go back to mute. Was that so hard?
Yeah, Smokey. Here's the paradigm. Okay, here's the Christian worldview. We posit in the positive. We give a statement and we say the Christian worldview is the only worldview that can justify the necessary preconditions for intelligibility. We know that there's uniformity in nature because God provides the necessary preconditions. He's the one that grounds the laws of logic. We can provide it, and it makes sense in the Christian worldview. In your worldview, you can't know anything at all. So anytime you start making statements about quote unquote justified true belief, or quote unquote you knowing that to some certainty that you can know things, but you actually don't know anything at all. It doesn't matter about maximal certainty or minimal certainty. You still don't know anything at all. You're maximally certain according to your own subjective perspective. So you actually have no standard that tells you what is maximally certain and what is minimally certain because you're still being subjective and you have no standard by which to critique maximally certainty versus minimal certainty. So you're still being circular because you're assuming a criteria in your own paradigm. So your paradigm leads to no knowledge at all. So it is impossible. Your worldview is impossible because it destroys the possibility of knowledge. You can't argue at all.
So you just used a bunch of epistemology to get to a conclusion of certainty. Are you infallible in your
I get
epistemology?
I gave you a positive
Are
and a
you
negative
infallible?
argument.
You guys just aren't going to answer anymore now, huh?
Are you gonna deal with my positive
I
argument that
just
the
did.
Christian
Are you
worldview?
infallible? I gave you all you yes, you gave me the Christian worldview. You used a whole bunch of epistemology to get there. I'm
Right.
asking you now, is all of your epistemology infallible?
No, my epistemology is not infallible. Let me
Beautiful.
finish
Thank
now.
you. Then
Okay,
your
let me finish now. Let me
conclusion
finish now.
can't be. Then your
Let me finish.
conclusion can't be.
Notice how
Thank
you
you.
started manifesting.
Thank
Let me
you.
finish. Let me finish. The reason why the Christian worldview is the truth is because it's the only one that can ground the necessary preconditions for logic.
And you
And
used
our
your
argument
fallible
in the negative.
epistemology to
Here we
get
go.
there.
But let me finish.
There you go.
The other statement is that your worldview is impossible and every other worldview is impossible because it cannot justify the necessary preconditions for logic. Ours can. So it must be true because if it's not the case, we can't talk at all. We can't debate at all. The Christian worldview can ground it. No other worldview can ground it. That is the argument.
It doesn't need a
If the Christian,
grounding to use it. It doesn't need a grounding to use it. You use it by your sense perception of axiomatically accepting that you can use it and that it's constant and it's true. And then you use it to reason to a conclusion. It's
wait,
all
do you know that?
fallible. It's all
Wait, do you know that?
fallible. I have
What
a
you just said, do you know
justified
that?
true belief. Again, I have a justified true belief that that's the
But you
state
don't
of
know that.
affairs.
Once you
No,
don't know that,
do
right?
I know anything infallibly? No. You're not
No,
going to
you
catch
don't
me
know
in
it at
some
all. It doesn't matter about
trap.
maximal certainty. You don't know it at all.
I'm arguing with you based upon epistemic warrant. This
Yeah,
is why
exactly.
all these Christians disagree on doctrines and all claim to be led by the
Wait, you're
same
making
Holy
a lot of
Spirit.
epistemic claims. You don't know it at all. I don't care about maximal
I have
certainty. Give me your
again a
standard. Give
justified
me your
true belief.
standard for maximal certainty. Give me your standard for
I
maximal
don't
certainty.
have to
Can I
adopt
ask a quick
infallibilism.
question?
There's nothing
Sword,
inside my
just a real quick
paradigm that
question, Sword.
requires
And
infallibilism.
I'm gonna mute back up. Just a real
So
quick
you
Nothing.
question.
don't know.
Wait, Sword,
So you
Sword.
don't know.
I just have a real quick question based on what he said, and I'll mute back up. Are you saying there are Christians who disagree that Jesus is God? Smokey? Did I lose audio?
Maybe his phone died again. So the last place that we were at was justified true belief, and Sword, I think you were pushing into grounding some of these things, and he said no, these are axiomatic. That, if I remember correctly, that's where we left it off. Just so
Yeah,
I
he's
know.
begging the question.
Yeah. Well, then
Yeah,
he said we're all like the reason doctrine is different is because we don't know infallibly. That's why I wanted to know. Does he think Christians disagree that Jesus is God?
yeah, and this is gonna be heated. Listen, guys, this is gonna be a heated discussion. That's why I'm only closing it just until we're ready. Now, if you guys, HHS Sword and Smokey, if you guys say, hey, you know what, let's add some people in there, we can. But so far, if you guys feel like we're not making any more progress, we should bring more people in. That's fine.
No, I want Sword to
No,
keep
we're
going.
making
I
progress.
didn't really want to interrupt,
Okay,
but
okay,
when
but
he said we disagreed on doctrine, right? He made that a sweeping statement, and I wanted that proven. I
fair enough.
want
No, we're
I want
making
us to,
progress.
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
because
fair
when he
enough.
says like,
We'll
yeah,
keep it close. They're just
and then I'll mute back to Sword. Like I said, I wanted Sword to go, so that's why I've been sitting on mute. But I just want him to confirm
okay.
that because he may see we as Christians, right? Since he's not a Christian, I have to look at him a little differently. But we as Christians understand we disagree on minor things.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if you don't agree Jesus is God, are you a Christian? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
Yeah,
that's
but
why
we
when
don't
he
yeah.
says that, like,
we
I just
don't
wanted to hear
disagree
that.
on epistemic fundamentals.
No, we don't. We don't exactly. We don't do that either. But that's why I just wanted to know though, because he said Christians disagree on doctrine. So I want to see, do we disagree on is Jesus God? And then I was gonna mute back up, Sword. I swear. I just wanted to know what his take on that was. But
Yeah,
again, I want to highlight though. You notice how far we've left mathematical addition, right?
So
So my axiom of two
as a
plus two equals
bookmark,
four, we can't even talk about it anymore because now we can't know that 2 + 2 = 4.
so here's
well, he
something I would
can't.
like
We
you
can.
guys to address. He's bringing up Agrippa's trilemma. So I would like you guys to, maybe when he comes back up, start just as a bookmark, say Agrippa's trilemma, justify true belief, and his view of no is maximal confidence in that justified true belief, or you could say maximal justification. Smokey, I'm just kind of bookmarking it so that we can pick it
Yeah,
up
you're
later on.
fine. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. This phone, I mean, gosh, Restream really sucks the juice out
I know. It's like
of it
a
like
battery
crazy.
drain. Yeah, yeah. If we can, let's just try to make a little bit of progress. Agrippa's trilemma, justify true belief. All right, you guys go ahead.
Wait, can I just get my question answered right quick?
Yes,
That I said,
please.
because I was going to mute back up so Sword could talk. So, Smokey, just to be clear, you said
Wait,
Christians
can you hear
disagree on
me?
doctrine. Is there a Christian? Yeah, I hear you, Sword. I don't know if Sword
Okay,
hears me,
sorry.
but I hear him. Smokey, just to make sure I'm clear, do Christians disagree on whether Jesus is God?
Yes. You got Unitarians, you got, anti-God types, Arians types, they'll believe in Jesus. You got the Jehovah's Witnesses, I mean, you got the
You think those
Mormons
are
that believe.
Christians?
Well, I mean, they're part of the Christio-ish faith based upon Christian paradigm
Well,
to a
I could say
certain degree.
Muslims are Christian-ish. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I don't
if you
know,
let a Muslim tell it.
it depends. I mean, secularists are going to look at them all as Christians. Baptists are going to
No,
say no
I'm
one
talking about
saves
under the
except
Christian
them.
paradigm because I know you know about the Christian paradigm.
Yeah,
In
but
the
dude,
Christian
but
paradigm,
even then, you all write your own paradigms. Like many of you say,
no,
Catholics aren't saved. Some Catholics
brother,
say you aren't
I'm
saved. I
asking
don't know
you
what you
from what
mean,
you
man.
know about. So now you don't know about the Christian paradigm, brother.
Dude, whose paradigm you want me to adopt here? You all have a different
Okay, I'm gonna
one.
mute. Go ahead,
Some
Sword.
of
Go
you
ahead, Sword.
think
I give up, man.
Catholics are
That was
saved.
all I
Some of you
needed right
think
there.
Orthodox
So,
are. Some of you think Baptists are. Some of you think none of them are
which
except you.
Orthodox, Catholic, or Baptist thinks Jesus isn't God?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I think
That's what I
there is.
thought. Go ahead, Sword. That's what I thought.
Actually, I think there's oneness Pentecostal
Hey,
types or
Smokey.
whatever.
So I got a question. So do you
Again,
admit that
this
you
is
don't have?
the point, dude. You all have a different definition of what a Christian is. Like the Catholics will say no one's Christian but them. The Orthodox will say no one's Christian except the Apostolics. The Baptists will say no one's Christian if you're
I
part
asked
of
you
the
a specific
Apostolic
question.
Church.
I didn't ask all this. I said, what
Oh my God.
Christian doesn't say Jesus is God? That was the question.
Which parent? Okay. Well, I just
You're right.
I
Let me
just
get. You
told
don't
you.
know.
I
You don't know.
just
I got.
told
You
you a
don't know.
whole bunch of them that identify as Christian that say
I
Jesus
didn't.
isn't God.
I said in the. I give up, man. Go ahead, Sword. That's just shows me all I
Whose
need to
standard
know.
of what a Christian is do you want me to use, dude? Whose standard? Which one? Who? Yours? Are you perfect and infallible about who's a Christian? Who you want me to
Okay,
use?
so the biblical text doesn't matter in the Christian
Oh
paradigm.
my!
You're right,
Well,
bro.
you
You're
have
right,
to
bro. Nobody
interpret
knows
it to
anything,
figure
bro.
that out, don't you?
You're right, bro. I understand.
You have to
No,
interpret
I get
it.
it. I
Is your
get it. I get you
interpretation
fired. I get you
infallible?
fired up. 2 + 2 =
Is
4
your
fired you up.
interpretation
Now
infallible, HSS?
yes.
Yeah.
If you're
Is your
saying is my
interpretation
interpretation of
infallible?
Christianity, you must believe Jesus is
Say,
God. Yes.
say.
Do you know what a woman is? What's a woman? What
Is
was the
that an
next thing? You
infallible
know nothing,
proposition?
bro.
Have you
You
interpreted
seem
that
to know nothing. All
infallibly?
you do is interrupt, bro.
Have you
You couldn't
interpreted that
tell me.
infallibly?
You couldn't tell me in the Christian paradigm who believes Jesus is God. And now you don't know the Christian paradigm. A minute ago, you knew John 5. Now
According
you
to
know
whose
nothing about
standard of what a
Christianity.
Christian
How do you
is?
even know you're right about John 5? Is it just,
According to whose
wait.
standard
How
of
do you
what a
know about John
Christian is?
5? How do you know about John 5? Is it just a
HHS.
justified true belief?
According to whose
Wait, you
infallible
just said
standard of what
John
a
5.
Christian is?
You just
Okay.
brought up John 5.
Can
How do
I
you
ask
know
my
John 5?
question?
Could we
Can
put
I
up
ask
a
my question, please?
Hold on. I
He's
want an
not going to
answer to
let me
no, no,
because
mine.
it sinks
HHS,
in.
Just
Smokey,
got
It
one
let's
answer,
sinks
just
in
add
if
a
I
John.
ask this
let's just add
question.
a little bit
John,
of
It
a little bit
sinks
of a
I'm
in if
buffer.
I
trying to
ask
make
this
it fruitful.
question.
He won't answer my question. I
No,
said,
no,
how do you bring up
so
John 5?
HHS, Smokey, let's just add a thing here. Let's make it a rule that we have to answer the question one at a time, please. So HHS,
Okay.
you have one question. Smokey, you have one question, but let's
Okay.
make it a
That's fine.
rule that we have to
I'll
answer
just
it.
hand it back to
Sure.
Sword. He's not going to answer it.
Okay,
Go
okay.
ahead, Sword.
No, I want you to answer my question.
Okay,
dude.
Smokey, you have
So
a
ask your
question
Bro, I
question.
for
wanted you to answer
HHS.
20 questions and all you do is nothing, bro. I'll let Sword talk to you, bro.
Who's
Because you won't
got the
answer my question.
infallible standard of what a
All
Christian
right,
is? Who's
Smokey,
got
Smokey,
it?
let's do this. Let's do
Who's
this.
got it?
For now, let's go to
I
Sword.
want an answer.
No, I
Okay,
get it. I get it.
Yeah,
For
I
now,
wanted one too. Welcome to the club, bro.
let's go to
Okay,
Sword
I'll
and let's
answer
okay,
do
yours
one
if you
Smokey,
question at a
answer
time.
mine right now.
Smokey,
One question
Right
at a
now.
time, and
Smokey.
let's do a. We need
Coward,
an answer
man.
for every question.
Coward.
Okay, Smokey. Can I get your
Save your
standard
hot
by
air,
which?
bro.
Can I get your standard by which you measure that which is maximally certain or minimally certain?
Again, dude, it's based upon my own personal justification of epistemology.
Yeah,
Everyone,
give me this.
everyone has that. Everyone has that. You assign values and which epistemology you want to adopt and why, and what standard of evidence you need to adopt a proposition is true. Some of it's emotional, some of it's cognitive, some of it's psychological. It all depends. And all of it is fallible because it's filtered through a fallible subjective agent.
Okay, so
This
you
is why
don't have a
this is
so
why
can you
people believe crazy crap like Mormonism. It's not like they don't have any reason to believe it. They just don't have good ones. That's what you guys would say. So they're fallible. You're all fallible. And by the way, I think the Bible actually teaches epistemic humility. Like you see through a mirror darkly. You know, you walk by faith, not by sight. You know, you don't have infallible propositions. That's why faith is a thing. What is faith? The substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
Okay,
You're
Smokey.
not operating
So
in a
you're
realm of infallibilism. You're operating in a realm of belief and
okay, I
trust.
got
And
you,
you
bro.
guys should know this.
Okay, I
Yo,
got you, bro.
so no, man, never mind. Go ahead,
You
Go ahead,
rant a
Sword.
lot. Okay, I got you, Smokey. So you have no justification for the standard that you use to actually say what is maximally certain or minimally certain. It's all subjective. And you do live by faith, right?
Everyone's perception is subjective, dude. God is the only objective agent, unless you're
No,
claiming to be able to see
but
things.
you live by
Are you
faith and you have no
claiming that you can
justification,
see
right?
things
See, he
the way
won't answer,
God
Sword. You
sees
see, I just
things?
ran over you and didn't answer.
just
Are
You
you
understand?
are,
Try
are
again,
you
Sword.
saying you can
ranting. You just
see
start ranting.
things?
Can
You
you
see?
answer
That's
any
why I stopped
questions?
talking.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Smokey. So you live by faith, but blind faith, right?
No, I didn't talk. No, I'm not talking anything about that.
Okay, so give me your justification
I
that
already
gives you the
told you.
standard by which you justify the
It's my
maximally certain
own.
from the.
It's my
And
own
how do you know yours
personally
is
selective
how do you know
epistemic warrant.
how
It's
do you
my
know yours is
own.
better than the other one next to you?
I don't. I
So you
don't.
live by blind
No
faith,
one
right? You don't
does.
know. So you live by
No one
blind faith,
does.
right?
I operate by justified true beliefs.
No,
It's the
it's
same
blind
answer
faith.
every time.
It's blind faith.
Okay, well, just let it be what you're forcing it to be then instead of what I'm saying. That's great,
It
dude.
doesn't
Okay,
matter what you're
good.
saying. We're all hearing what you're saying. You cannot justify a single thing, yet you hop on the panel and try to
Oh my
justify
God.
things that you can't justify.
I,
You
I
live by
can
blind faith.
I can justify them at
So
the
why are you atheist?
level that a fallible agent can justify something. I don't know why that's so hard to accept. Can you see things the way God sees things?
Stop switching the question.
Then you can't see things
You can't
infallibly.
justify a
He
single
won't
thing,
answer you.
right?
It's
He won't
just
answer
that
you.
simple. It's
He's
Smokey,
not
just
going to
that
answer you.
simple. It really
Smokey,
is.
can you justify anything?
God. Again, via the metric of justified true belief using my own personal selected
He
epistemic
just asked you for
pathways,
the metric, bro. Were you
justifications,
paying attention?
What is your metric?
I'm
What
literally
is your
answering
metric?
right now. I'm literally answering right now, and you guys don't want to even let me finish answering. You don't want
Yeah,
the
go
answer
ahead. What is
because
the
you don't
metric?
like it. The metric is, again, I'm going to explain it again. I know you don't like it. This is just how it is in this paradigm, which is what makes it consistent. I have a justified true belief based upon my own selection of epistemic justifications. That some might be psychological, some might be emotional, some might be cognitive, some might be logical, some might be deductive, some might be abductive. It all depends. But
Okay, gotcha.
all of them are based at a level of subjective, fallible reasoning and axioms, which I cannot infallibly
Right.
justify. Therefore, every proposition I build off of that can, by definition, not
Okay,
be
okay, okay.
Wait,
infallible.
hold Sword.
That's it.
Just so I'm
Okay, okay,
clear,
I
That's
got
let's
you, I
it.
got you,
define
I
terms.
got you.
It's
Sword,
so
Sword.
simple.
I'm gonna let you
It's
cook,
so
Sword.
simple.
I just want to know, what does metric mean to you?
What? What, like
What do you
the
mean? What's
measurement? Like the measurement?
okay?
Like
So he asked you for a standard of measurement, and do you know what you
I
just
just
said?
told
I
you.
want to make sure I
Yeah.
still hold, brother. Good gracious, man. I just want to make sure I still man you, because
Okay.
that's what I'm trying to do before Sword
Sure.
speaks again. You
Okay.
said your
Go ahead.
metric is what you can reasonably have a justified true belief in, which differs depending on the situation, whether it's your reason or something in reality or something else. Like, so, in other words, it's a metric that applies depending on the situation.
Oh.
Is that a steel man, or am I misrepresenting you? Before I
Yeah,
let Sword speak again.
you're missing it a bit. You're missing
Okay,
it.
can you stop? I just want to make sure. See, I'm paying attention, so I want to make
So
sure that I don't misrepresent you. So can I
I
get this
get
metric
you.
one more time?
So there is a proposition. I'm trying to make this simple because I think it seems to be not getting
No,
No,
caught.
I
I
hear
just
you,
wanted. I just
Smokey.
wanted
I
to
So
hear you,
see.
Smokey.
All right, my
I hear
bad.
you,
Go
Smokey.
ahead,
I
Sword. I'm
Smokey.
sorry. I just want to make sure
I
I try to steel man him. That's all.
Smokey, okay, so you said you have a set list of axioms that are necessary in your worldview.
not
That,
really set list, but I have axioms that I accept, not a set
okay,
list. I have
okay,
things that I
okay.
accept as
What is
true.
your criteria that determines which things are axiomatic and which are not?
Well, it's just things I can't definitively, undoubtedly deduct or justify through any logical pathway. It's something that just has to be accepted on its face.
Okay, so if you have a criteria by which you
Like
distinguish
I
the
exist. Like I exist would be one of them.
okay, give me a second. If you have a criteria that gives you that which is axiomatic and that which is not axiomatic, isn't axiomatic supposed to be self-attesting? Didn't you just use another criteria outside of the axiom to attest to the axiom? So it's no longer an axiom, right? So you have a
No.
prior axiom. So you have a prior axiom that's telling you which things are
Well,
axiomatic.
that's
How do you justify
fine.
the prior axiom?
If you wanna frame it that way, then it would just be circular, which is
Right,
another
and that's what
starting
you just
point
said.
for epistemology. So it doesn't really matter whether it's
Right,
axiomatic or circular. It's still the same thing. It's
right,
still
right. That is what
unjustifiable.
you have. That is what
That's
you
what
have. You
everyone
have
has. That's
circular
what everyone
reasoning
has. It's what
and you
everyone
live by
has.
blind faith. You have
Everyone has
presupposed
that view.
axioms by which you critique the other axioms. You have an axiom as a standard
Sword,
that you haven't yet justified, and then
sword.
you use that axiom that you haven't justified yet to give you which things are axiomatic. So you're in an infinite regress of axioms. So you live in an infinite regress of axioms that are
So and
unjustified,
now
and you
you're
live by
saying
blind
it's
faith, right?
regressive. That's fine too. Now you're saying it's regressive. And again, that's the third part of the trilemma. So you can paint it as axiomatic, circular, or regressive. It doesn't matter. It still makes my point for me. And everyone starts that way, one way or the other. It just is. So your epistemic pathway to begin, before you even get to something you're going to claim as an infallible claim of knowledge, you're using a whole bunch of fallible mechanisms. So your claim can't be infallible. It really is just that simple. I don't know why you're
Okay,
fighting
so
this.
my claim can't be infallible. Do you know that infallibly?
I have a justified true belief based upon what I see,
But you don't know
observe,
that
and my
infallibly, right? So that's
epistemic
self-refuting.
warrant.
So that's
See,
self-refuting, right?
I don't need certainty in my paradigm for it to be valid. I simply need
Because you,
to have a probability metric of justification. I don't need
Smokey, you just
infallibility.
made a universal claim. You just made a
No, I
universal
didn't.
claim,
No, I
and you
didn't.
called me. Say it again.
Here's the thing. I even any claim I make universally is not based upon an infallible knowledge. And
Can
again,
you
it's
make
based upon a
universal claims that are
justified.
not that are?
It's
Can
based
you make
upon
a
a
universal
justified
claim that is
true
not
belief.
infallible?
This is no one can make an infallible claim at all. That's the point, dude.
Can you
That's the
make a
point.
universal claim that is not infallible?
No one can make an infallible knowledge claim to
No,
know
you're not
something
answering my question.
infallibly. I
Can you
am.
make a universal claim that is infallible or
No.
fallible?
Okay, fine. No. It's that
Thank
simple.
you. So
Saying no.
you're self-refuting.
No, it's not. No, it's not because it's not based upon requiring any
You make
infallibilism.
universal claims, but you don't make them
I
infallibly. They
don't
are
make a
fallible universal
dude.
claims,
I
so they
don't
cannot be
only, dude.
universal
Your thing
claims.
would only work if I was making an infallible universal claim. I'm not. You're not following this. No one is making an infallibilist claim here except you, and you have to follow fallible metrics and fallible epistemology to get there. And yet you're going to claim you're infallible, and you don't see how insane that is. It
No,
makes
you're
no
the one that's in an
sense.
infinite circle.
This is your see, here's the
But I
thing.
gotta go.
I'm pointing out right now that your epistemology is flawed, which you have infallibly accepted as true.
I gotta
Do you
go,
see the
Zanzi.
problem here? Do you see the problem
Thank you
here?
for having me.
All
Okay.
right.
Thanks, Sword. Yep.
I think I got out pretty much everything I needed to. I don't know if you want to like.
Oh, I heard enough for sure. Yeah, for sure. I heard plenty. I'm sure there's other people
Sure,
want to join.
for sure. Yeah, okay. I love these epistemic arguments, by the way. Look,
I'm good. Once somebody denies the infallibility of mathematical addition, like I'm straight. I don't even worry anymore. Like I'm good.
That's funny.
Yeah, you're right. Mathematical addition is not infallible. Go ahead, say it. Just say it for the audience.
Your capacity to understand anything, including mathematics, is not infallible. That's the
You're
whole
right.
point.
What was my statement? You keep misrepresenting my statements. It's so irritating.
Because you don't want to
said
argue what I'm
mathematical
talking about.
addition. I said
Yeah.
mathematical
Okay.
addition. When did I say me, bro?
Okay, dude, you don't understand the
okay,
difference in the category between what a true proposition is and an agent's ability to know it or the pathway they take to know
You're
it.
right,
You're
bro.
not
I have no
understanding the
idea, bro. You're
difference.
right, bro.
You've confused that category this
I've
whole
confused
debate.
it.
You
You're
have
right, bro.
not gotten it, dude. You have
You're
not
right.
gotten it.
Hey, Smokey, I'm not gonna lie. You demolished HHS, bro. That was bad.
All right, so let me say this. So real quick before we start playing those games.
Wait,
So
hold on, bro. Hold on. I see Ben wants to take shots. Aren't you the inquirer, right, Ben?
I'm taking a break from inquiring, actually.
What do you mean you're taking a break from inquiring, bro? What does that even mean?
You know, that means that I'm not inquiring right now. That's what that means.
Are you
take a break from something? Yeah, I believe in Christ. Yeah.
Is Christ in heaven?
Sure. I believe he's in heaven. I have faith he is. I can't know that with absolute certainty, though.
That's all I needed to hear.
All right. So, anyways.
Oh wait, hold on, real quick.
Hold on, Ben.
HHS, hey, hold on, HHS. Tell me how you can know that with absolute certainty, something you can't observe nor test.
You want me to tell you how I can know?
Have you seen Jesus in heaven?
Bro, can I finish my statement tonight, man?
Damn, crashing out over there.
You said, have I seen Jesus? Yes, I have. That's answer number one.
You see, okay, how do you know you're not hallucinating?
Bro, you literally won't let me finish a sentence, bro.
How do you know that's not a hallucination?
No, I'm not going to stop. Until you let me finish my statements, bro, I'm not going to let you speak. Stop talking. So then you say, can I know for certain that Jesus is in heaven? Yes, because the Bible is divinely revealed. So if that is the voice of God, bro, shut your mouth, please. If the Bible is the divine word of God, which even Smokey would say the divine can be infallible, and it tells me Jesus is in heaven, that means I can know for certain that Jesus is in heaven, bro. Are you joking?
Okay, let me break it down for you real slow.
I want a real slow answer to my question.
I'm gonna break it down for you
real
slow.
because I want to answer my question. I will kick you, bro. I will have you kicked if you don't answer my question. Is the Bible true?
I have faith that it's true, yes.
So you don't know if the Bible's true?
Yeah, so I can make a truth claim, but I can't know with absolute certainty.
Yeah, so you don't know the Bible's true, right? You don't know the Bible's true.
I have faith that it's true.
I didn't ask you about your faith.
I can't know with absolute certainty that it's true.
Okay, so you don't know the Bible's
This
true.
isn't
I
hard to
rest my case.
understand, dude. This isn't hard to
Yeah,
understand.
yeah,
So
it's really
when you
not.
brought up
Yeah,
the
it's very
Bible, this
simple.
is what's interesting. When you brought up the Bible, you said
Well,
it's
define
divinely
faith.
inspired.
Define
Hold
faith,
on.
Ben.
Yeah, so faith would be, I would say, a trust. For example, I'll give you a perfect analogy. You have faith or trust that your wife loves you. You can't know with absolute certainty your wife loves you. And when you get
Is my
into a
wife the voice of
relationship,
God?
let me finish my answer. I'll answer you next. So you have faith and trust when you commit to that relationship that your wife loves you, but you can't know with absolute certainty. Same thing with the Word of God, right? You have faith that the Bible is the Word of God. You trust that it's the Word of God. You cannot know with absolute certainty that what you're reading is actually the Word of God. When you said the Bible is how I know, then I'm going to have to ask, how do you know the Bible with absolute certainty is the Word of
Well, how'd
God?
you get here? How'd you get here?
Again,
Well, hold on, real quick.
everything I'm about to say is a faith claim. I have faith based off a justified belief. When I
Have you
say
ever met
justified
your
belief,
have you ever met your great 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 great
Can I
grandparents?
can I just say something real quick since
Well,
we're
hold
kind
on,
of
I don't know
Smokey.
why this is
open?
so
Real
Smokey.
quick,
I
let
don't
me
know
say
why
this.
this is so hard to understand.
Well, hold on, let me say this. So, from what I gathered from what Smokey said, and correct me if I'm wrong, is this is a game of probabilities. So the reality is, am I infallible or am I fallible? I am fallible. So I can technically, metaphysically be wrong about something, even though I believe there is a high probability that that particular thing is objectively true. So, what I'm hearing is yes, I believe Jesus is God, but is it metaphysically possible, since I am a fallible creature, that I can be in a realm where I am metaphysically possibly in a situation where I can be wrong? And I think that regarding everything in reality, there is a probability that I could be wrong about what I perceive, but not a high probability. So there is a high probability that I am in my house. I believe there is a 99.999999999 to the infinity percent. But is there a possibility metaphysically that I am not in my house and I am perceiving something wrong? Yes, that is a very small possibility, but I do not believe that is the reality. And
Well,
so I think,
the thing is, JP, you're even using fallible, reasoning and logic to even get to the idea of the proposition that you're 99.999% correct.
no,
Well,
So
correct,
inclusion.
correct, and
right,
I
right,
can grant
right.
that, right? I can grant that. I
Because
can say,
it's a
yeah.
series.
No, no,
Our
yeah,
No,
and
epistemology
that's what
interesting.
I'm
takes
saying.
upon a
And
series.
let me say this, and then I'll let you guys cook. So I can see, I hear what HHS is saying. I hear what Smokey is saying. I really enjoyed this conversation. What my statement would be if I were in this scenario is, hey, look, I am fallible. I could theoretically be wrong, and guess what? I could theoretically be wrong, but what about what I just said? And I could be theoretically wrong about what I just said, about what I just said, about what I just said, infinity backwards. That is true. But I believe in the gospel, and I believe that there is a high probability, given the evidence that I have, that this is true. Could I be metaphysically possibly wrong about this? Yes, it is possible because I'm fallible. But well, I could be. Yes, it is possible that I'm
See,
fallible. But I'm
here's
what? Yeah, go
here's the
ahead.
thing. Yeah, here's the thing, JP, real quick. Because once you propose an infallible proposition, like you've known something infallibly, what that means is that every single epistemic step you took to get there, including the unjustified epistemic foundations you would have to rely upon, all those steps, all those epistemic steps to that infallible proposition must also be infallible.
Well,
It's just
that's why I
impossible.
argue from
It's just
probable.
impossible. Right. Probable. Right.
Yeah, and that's why I argue
And
from the
by the
stand.
way, this is the thing that the atheists tend to hate too, because when they come to you and they say, prove God, you say, well, no, that's not how this works. We have epistemic
Well,
justification of
Smokey,
the
let me say
higher
my
likelihood.
last piece because
You
I'm
know,
about to leave.
yeah,
But
that's fine.
that's why I would argue from a probable standpoint. I think that would be a little safer. Hey, does God exist? I think the evidence suggest that
The,
it is
high,
more probable.
the likelihood is that it is more likely true than not.
Correct.
That's a
Yes,
good way to-
and so I won't say yes. It is infallibly true because I am a
Possibly to the
fallible.
contrary.
Yeah, because I'm a fallible person. But what I would argue is, I would say, hey, is it probable that we came from a Big Bang, or is it more probable that there was a creator? And that's where I would go. I would go in the direction of probabilities because I am infallible after all. You know what I'm saying?
But probability is tough because it's based on math, bro.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on.
I'm just saying, bro.
Exactly,
It is.
dude.
Well,
It's
Exactly.
probability
listen,
based
man.
on
I'm gonna
math.
let you guys. I'm gonna let you
hold on,
guys
JP,
cook,
JP.
man.
Just so
I
you know how we
appreciate
got
the
here,
combo.
I asked about
Go ahead,
mathematical
brother
addition.
HHS. Go
Now, I was
ahead.
gonna say how we got here was I asked about
Just-
mathematical addition. Now
Yeah.
you're using advanced mathematics, which is
Yeah, he's
probability. It's just
presupposing
priceless,
mathematics.
bro. That's it. But go ahead, JP. You're good. I just
No,
want
no,
to say
I
that.
was gonna
man.
say I appreciate the conversation. This was real fun. I'm gonna continue to listen to y'all speak and do y'all thing. So appreciate for having me, Smokey and HHS and Zanzi. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, JP.
I just want to.
Thank
I
you.
just want to say right quick that I think it's kind of funny when HHS says statistics is advanced mathematics because it ain't.
I couldn't hear you, Random. Your mic's low.
I thought it was kind of funny when you said statistics was advanced mathematics because it ain't.
I said probability, bro. What are you talking about?
Probability statistics, not advanced math.
Probability is mathematics, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but it's not. But it's not advanced.
It is. It depends. Are you talking about King or Bayes? Or are you
for
talking
me.
about like what are you talking about? There's advanced probability, bro. What, are you being funny? They run it with supercomputers.
I'm being funny.
Oh, you're doing a bit. You
If
gotta let
I
me know in
could, if I
advance you're
could
doing
just
a
real
bit.
quick,
bro.
You
just
gotta
real
try to
quick.
lighten the mood once in a while. Now, Smokey, I just wanna cook you in one regard. All right.
Sure. Yeah.
66 million years ago and one day on the Yucatan Peninsula, a dinosaur walked past two trees, and then that same dinosaur walked past two other trees. Before we had the language to describe the fact that that dinosaur walked past 2 plus 2 equals 4 trees, that dinosaur walked past 4 trees. Something
That's
is
fine.
real. Something is real no matter what words we use to describe it.
Well, no, that's why I addressed that with the local idea of the acceptance of a proposition that can be locally true, if not infallibly
But the
true.
local acceptance is based on semiotics and semantics, not based on what is true in reality.
Well, it's still at some level based usually upon sense perception too. Even accepting the idea that trees exist and things of this nature, epistemic warrant for such propositions. So.
I get it, but the epistemic warrant of Dino walking past two trees, then two more trees for a total of 4
No,
trees.
that's fine. Again, it's not dealing with the base rock foundation of the argument, which is the capacity. And again, by the way, it's fine for, and again, Random, just remember, it's fine for the idea of an ultimate truth even existing. That's fine. It's fine to accept the idea that there could be some principle, even in creation or evolution, that is absolutely objectively true. But our capacity to know it, this is a completely separate argument than to whether or not the proposition.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that.
Okay. But let me just say one thing before we kick into the rest.
Let me just say one more thing, and I'm going to dip. I don't need to be here for this.
Okay, buddy. Okay, go ahead.
I just want to say one more thing, and then I'm going to dip. Right.
Well, Smokey, I want to ask you a question later.
That's fine. I just want to say one thing to HHS when Random's done, and let's.
You keep arguing from justified true belief. Have you actually read up on the Gettier problem and its argument against justified true belief? Because you should probably read up on that. Because I do. We didn't get into that. I do have reconciliations like that at the base rock level, and again. I'm fine with accepting arbitrary justifiable value metrics as part of the justification. So the Gettier problem is really much of a problem in this because again, it's all about individual justification of epistemic choices. So again, the Gettier argument is that justified true belief can exist without knowledge, right? So if you read up on the Gettier problem, you and I can have that conversation at length some other time.
That's fine. Again, knowledge won't be necessary
inside the paradigm that I'm proposing. I guess that didn't really come through when I was talking
It
about the
didn't come
value
through. It
metrics.
didn't come through when you were explaining it. That's why I.
Okay, yeah, that's why I tried to touch on the value metrics of the justification. But anyway, this is a discussion for another time. We'll
Smokey, wait, real quick, just so can I
I'm
clarify
not
real
going
quick?
anywhere. I'm not going anywhere.
I'm the
I'm
one
just
going.
waiting for random to finish so I could say something to HHS.
Yeah.
That's all that's happening right now.
And I'm leaving. God bless everyone. Have a
Thank you, Random. HHS, I just wanted to say to you, thank you for doing this. You were a good sport. You popped up, you jumped up and did it right away. You answered my challenge. You didn't have to. I appreciate that. I hope there's no bad blood. I had a fun time. I love these types of conversations, and I appreciate you as a debater and everything. So thanks for doing this, man. I really do appreciate it.
No worries. I don't have any bad blood when I click leave or anything like that. So
that's cool.
No worries.
That's
no
cool.
Worries.
Awesome.
Man, it just happens to be one of my favorite things in the world.
No, I love talking about, especially epistemology. Like, I love this stuff. So yeah. Anyway. And plus, I like the idea that theists don't get spanked with, certain dumb atheist arguments, or when the Orthodox are coming in talking about how they can't definitively know who's saved or not, and that, they have a justification for that. The Protestants
don't even get me started on inquiries like
Ben.
Ben. I'm not going to take the cheap shots he does because it's a waste of my theological
I'm just saying,
time.
Understanding, I understand the epistemic position they come from, in terms of their paradigm. And I get that. And so they are speaking my language. That's why I kind of propose this, but I really do appreciate you doing this tonight, man. You're awesome.
No, really, it was fun. Like I said, any chance to get me back
it was
in
good
the
time.
seat.
Good time.
Yeah. I'm gonna stay muted for most of this while everybody else talks. I know Toronto, I'm sure he wants to get some bars off. I see Peccator and Neil want to talk. So I'm not trying. I don't know who was next, but just so you guys know why I'm muted. No, it's okay. I just want the room to know. Hold on 1 second. I just want the room to know why I'm muted, so they don't think like, hey, what's up? Yeah, but I know other people want to talk. I see. Look, Toronto. He already smiling. Look at him. He gearing up. I see him. So I'm gonna go back to mute. I'll let y'all cook. Okay.
Zons, I assume it's okay if I uploaded this on my channel later.
Yeah, go ahead.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, so it won't take very long, maybe 30 to 45 seconds. But the main thing I've gotten from this conversation so far tonight is we got one person claiming that, hey, maybe our decisions really don't matter, whereas everybody else is pushing that our choices do matter. And the question you have to ask yourself is that there is no God. Then do our choices really matter or not? When we make our decisions every single day like this, do they matter or do they not? And if there is no God, then nothing really matters, now does it? That's all I have to say.
Neil Dragon, I'm glad you said that. That actually was expanding upon the very thing that Random himself brought in here with the Gettier problem about the inability to have a position of knowledge. And that's why you just explained beautifully how you've incorporated a value into this. Now, it might even be axiomatic, it might even be not definitively justified, but you've attributed a value to this, and therefore you follow that value, and that's part of your epistemic warrant and justification. And I think that's fine, because I think that's really all everyone has at the end of the day. So thank you for putting that out there. That carries through. Random, I hope you were paying attention to that.
Well, if we only get to 99.9% of God maybe being there, then really all you have, Smokey, is wishful thinking.
Well, what you have is faith and belief. And by the way, that's what you're called to have. You don't see, definitively, just like, when doubting Thomas, blessed are those that believe and don't see, haven't seen. You don't see exactly the way some people have seen. You weren't there at the Sea of Galilee or feeding the 5,000. You have a lesser epistemic warrant, but you've still accepted it to be true. You have a different method of which to get there. And all of these methods are fallible. And that's okay. Accepting that and being willing to accept that you could be wrong about something gives you epistemic humility and allows you to learn and grow and not think you always have everything figured out.
Okay, can I ask a question then, Smokey?
Yeah, I don't care. Whoever, whatever. Yeah, anyone. I don't care.
Yeah, it's open.
Well, I would say first, the Gettier problem is not that you can't have knowledge, but that sometimes justified true beliefs are not knowledge. But
they're never knowledge. They're never knowledge. They're never knowledge.
I would just say the Gettier problems are just not even a real problem for Plato. I don't think that's what Plato was talking about with justification. But anyway, aside from that, I wanted to ask you about. It seems like what you're saying is that because humans are fallible, you cannot know that your epistemology is correct? Is that what you're saying?
Of course you can. You're a fallible agent.
Okay.
Everyone's prone to deflections, deceptions, distractions, bad epistemologies, bad epistemic warrants, bad justifications. I mean, I could believe
Okay. Wait,
hold on.
okay.
I could believe my wife loves me even when she's like cheating on me behind my back and I don't know about it. The truth of the proposition could be wrong. I mean, I could believe my wife loves me more than any other proposition on earth and be wrong about it.
It's not what I'm asking you, man.
My perception is fallible and limited. God's is subjective and wide.
Okay, so you're saying that your epistemology, you cannot know that your epistemology is correct, right? But isn't that principle? Are you saying that principle is correct? That principle that you cannot know?
It's the same question over and over again, and it's the
gonna
same
say, is it
answer over and
justified
over
belief?
again. Thank you. Thank you. Someone was paying attention. Thank you.
Is it justified belief that you're still saying that it's a knowledge claim? It's a knowledge claim, right?
No.
Okay,
no
you
one
can make.
is-
Hold on.
Okay.
You can make.
Go
You can
ahead.
make a
I'm
truth
gonna
claim,
grab a drink. Go ahead.
bro. You can make a truth claim, right? You can make a truth claim, but you can't know with absolute certainty that the claim you're making is true.
Is that
No,
true?
that's infallibility.
So if I'm on a plane, I can't say I'm in the air.
Yeah, you can know that 2 + 2 is 4. You can know this.
Yeah. So
fallibility. Wait.
Let me refine it because I'm a little different. I'm a little different than Salty. He just asked me a question.
No, wait. I just want to make this clear.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I'm trying to make this establish this, that fallibility doesn't mean that nothing we know is true, or nothing, we have no knowledge. It means that we can be mistaken about things. We're not perfect, but some things we can be certain about, like such as the revelation of God, because God is perfect. We can believe what He's revealed to us, right?
Yeah. So, and I might be a little different than Smokey. I think. Well, I don't know if I am with what I'm about to say. I think observable things. I think honestly, the only thing you can know with absolute certainty is that you exist. Even if you're on a plane, correct? How do you know that you're not? How do you know you're actually in the plane and on some sort of simulation? You can't know that with 100% certainty. It's impossible.
The whole solipsism, problem of hard solipsism.
I'm just saying, like, the only thing you can know with absolute certainty is that you exist.
If
Everything else,
I'm in a plane in the air. How do I know I exist?
How do you know you're not in a computer simulation and you're not actually?
I know? Okay, if I'm in a computer simulation, that would mean I didn't exist.
Is it possible that you're in a computer
code? No, wait. I would be programmatic code. That means I can't even know I exist, bro.
But you would be existing as code, correct?
No, you
hold on, HHS. You would be existing as code, correct?
No, you wouldn't. That's presupposing.
No, you would be existing. Actually,
no, you would not.
You would be
that's
existing.
Presupposing sentience. No, that's
no, you would be existing.
Bro, that's presupposing sentience of code. No, it would not.
You're talking about the state of existence, not the fact that you exist.
Okay, check this out. What is an NPC in a video game? Is that an existence?
That'd be the NPC exists. Yes, the NPC exists. Yes.
Is it a sentient existence?
How do you know you're not programmed?
Wait. Can I just see one thing?
How do you know right now you're not programmed? How do you know you're not an NPC?
I think you had a question.
I mean,
right? I don't want him to.
This is great. He doesn't know if he's an NPC. Somebody.
Yeah, I had a quick question.
You can't know with 100%. The only thing you can argue that you know with 100% certainty is that you exist. The state of existence you can question.
Even argue that.
Well, then you're just favoring my point. Then, if you can't even argue that you exist with absolute certainty, then you can't argue anything with absolute certainty.
Smokey said that. Smokey said
that. No,
but
Ben. Ben, hold on a second. You're making another claim. You're making another claim. You're claiming that the only thing we can know is that we absolutely exist, right? But then you're also
the only thing you can know with absolute certainty is that you exist.
Yeah, you're also making that claim. You're making that claim with absolute certainty.
I could be an NPC. I don't know. Maybe I am programmed.
But
I know that. You know what I'm
saying?
There's a couple of sides to this.
You're making the claim. Hold on, Chris. You're making the claim that we can only know that with absolute certainty. That's another claim.
That you exist. Yes, and even
Ben, this is what I'm saying to you. This is what I'm saying to you.
Bro, okay, go ahead. I'll wait for a question.
All you can know is that we exist. You're making that claim.
No, not we. That you yourself.
Okay.
I don't even know if you actually exist. I don't know that with absolute certainty.
All right, bro. All right, bro. But you're also making the claim that all we can know is that. That's a separate claim from the notion that
Yes.
you exist.
When I say
So
all that we can know,
the two claims you're making.
bro, you gotta like take breaks on your speech, bro. Let me explain it simple. Like, I have a subjective experience, right? Me, myself, I have a subjective experience. So when I say all that we can know is that we exist, I'm referring to the subjective agent when I say that. I'm talking to you right now. I don't know if you exist with absolute certainty. I could be talking to a
Ben, hold on.
program. I don't know.
Hold on. I don't want. Straight Doom has a question. I just don't want him to let go. He has a simple question. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, this is just like a really quick question. Is the Agrippas or the other trilemma, do those aim to be a system of knowledge and avoid things like circularity, infinite regress, and metaphysical bruteness? Or is it just saying like that and everybody has to adhere to that because that's ultimately what knowledge ends up in? So the only way that we can actually trust anything is if we make, like you said, like it might be an assumption. I don't know. So I was just
think
wondering.
that's for you, Smokey. I think that's for you.
That's what Agrippa's trilemma. Yeah, one of those three things must be the basis.
Let me so like you don't know that tomorrow the rules of the universe will be the same as they were yesterday. You don't know that. You believe it, you trust it. You're like, well, it's always been this way, and I can't perceive a universe where it would be anything different. Therefore, epistemic warrant justification, it's going to continue to be the same. You're using some sort of basic axiom. Well, however it's always been is how it's always going to be. You don't know that. You don't have a definitive epistemic justification for that, but you accept it. And based upon that unjustified, possibly fallible justification, you have a whole series of other propositions that you build off of that are also fallible.
Wait, real quick.
Starting. Can I just say one thing? Because that's a big sweeping statement. When you say the universe will be the same, I think that's a little sweeping. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
I don't know if y'all can y'all still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way,
yeah, we can hear you.
I'm lagging really bad right now.
Yeah,
no, but all I was asking is because I know what you think, like probably some of our epistemic positions are, right? But I'm asking you about yours. So when we talk about the Agrippa's trilemma, right? Is the Agrippa's trilemma, does this escape things like infinite regress, not infinite regress, metaphysical assertion, like saying something's metaphysically brute? Does it escape circularity, or does it say that there's no way that we can know things without such things?
I think it establishes the idea, and this is just a very basic principle. A truth proposition, an absolute truth proposition, could exist, but your ability to know it infallibly is not possible based upon what you perceive in reality. So, assuming there even is an absolute truth, which we have to use fallible epistemology to get to whether or not that's true or not, and that's fine. There could be an absolute truth. It has nothing to do with your capacity and your fallible epistemology to get to what a truthful proposition is.
Yeah, nah, but real quick, see, like I promise you, I'm not like making this question too difficult.
No, I'm trying to answer it. I'm sorry if I'm not. I'm trying to answer
it's good, but this is really, really, really simple. What I'm asking, like this could be like, this is one of those questions that can, like, you don't even got to spend much time pondering about. So again, when we talk about knowing stuff, right, is the Agrippa's trilemma and the epistemology that comes from that, does that escape the fact that everything is, either circular, regresses infinitely?
No.
Or does it submit to it and
no.
in turn, does it in turn say, well, if I say I'm going to know anything, then it's going to fall under that no matter what. So all I can do is make a justified true belief. Is that what it's saying?
Yeah, you cannot escape the starting point being fallible. Yes, that is the case.
So that's all I was asking. You see, it was like a really simple.
Yeah, no, that's fine. This is why I brought up the value dynamic, because that is important. Because here's the thing, I can value a false proposition despite it being false. In fact, I could value a false proposition without even knowing it's false. I can value a false proposition knowing it's false. I can choose to adopt and sloppy answer, but I can choose to adopt the idea if my, if my family, my father is abusive or bad to me, I can still choose to adopt the proposition that he loves me, and this is just how he shows it. Now, someone outside of that would see it as negative, would see it, no, that's not loving. That's not what should be done. Well, whose position is correct and which one is infallible? Are either of them infallible? Or is one of them more likely true than the other based upon epistemic warrant, which is, again, also fallible? So I can convince myself to believe a false proposition that has nothing to do with epistemology, but it just has to do with how much I value whether or not it is true.
Well, hang on. I got a question on that.
That's okay, and I'm not even saying that's a bad thing. I think we should try to separate our emotions as much as we can to get as close to objectivity, but we are emotional creatures, and that is hard to do, especially judging ourselves. What does the Bible say? If you judge yourselves, we would be judged for nothing. So, I mean, understand that. The Bible is telling you you're fallible, that your judgment is not perfect, that your perception is not perfect. Like, holding any other position is not viable. It's not tenable.
Is it better to believe the truth rather than the lie, or vice versa?
Well, it's funny because you said believe.
It seems like there's two problems here, because the truly assured are often the delusional. The ones who are the most delusional are the most sure of anything in reality. And the second is, if we can't start from a position of agreement, we can't have the philosophical discussion in the first place. So I think we need to start from a position of certain things are understood. Language in itself is axiom.
Yeah. Smokey, I had a question for you.
Also, I would be confused on like the biblical text and his. Hold on one second. This is important, right? Because even the biblical text to you isn't infallible, right? So when you cite the biblical text, it's just the fallible text, right? In your worldview, Smokey.
I mean, sure. I mean, would I be able to infallibly know something about the text, some sort of
No. I'm not. That's not what I. Please,
you keep asking me like what?
No, listen to what I said. Listen to what I said. I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you about your interpretation. Why can't I talk when you talk, bro? Can I just talk, please?
Like you're just.
I said as in the because I'm trying to drive a point home for the Christians on the panel. Because in your worldview, the biblical text is not infallible. Not your interpretation of it. To be clear, I didn't say can you understand it infallibly. Just the text itself.
Yeah, I know that's the problem. You keep asking me what is true or not instead of how I know.
Can I ask a question?
Like that's the thing.
Real quick, I had a question.
Maybe my question is confused. Listen, this is what I'm trying. I'm not reframing anything. I'm saying the text itself, not your understanding.
HHS, you're making a category.
I don't. Ben, please be quiet. I really just don't want to hear you. I want to talk to Smokey. What I'm saying is, the text itself, a Christian would say is infallible, even though they would admit their interpretation thereof is fallible. So, for example, we would see Christians who say something like, well, I don't infallibly know eschatology, right? For an example. But they wouldn't say what's written in the Bible is fallible. They would say their understanding of it is fallible. I'm asking you, in your worldview, the text itself, would you see that as infallible?
So here's the thing. If it was an infallible proposition, then everyone would believe it infallibly. How about that?
How can a proposition be infallible?
I don't even know how that's the answer to my question, but I'll let it go. I'm good.
I just have a question.
Hold on, I had a question.
You're saying you're okay. Well, go ahead.
Hold on, Ben. Let him.
Yeah, I had a real quick one. It would take 2 seconds, and then you
go
can
ahead.
have the rest.
Go ahead.
So, Smokey, I was wondering if you view it this way too. Like when you people ask questions, about the past, or let's say just yesterday, you can't even know for certain that what you experienced yesterday actually happened, correct?
Hard solipsism is a problem in the dynamic of epistemology. Yes, absolutely.
So, like when you talk about when we talk about all these examples that we're talking about, right? When I woke up today, I can't even know for certain that those things actually occurred.
That is true.
You can't know anything for certain.
Yeah, I know that's the point we're making, and and I'll pass it
You
to you
can't
right after
even
this.
know what if you can't even know the question you're asking. You don't even have any basis. Like you don't
Well,
have
so
any
let me
Yeah.
basis
let
for
me
So
let me
asking
give
the question
you
you're asking right now.
let me give you guys an example real quick. I want to bring up a quick story. It'll draw
It's
this all
crazy.
to center. It'll draw this all to center. I promise. So
Uh huh.
there was a guy who was an atheist. I knew he was in Facebook groups doing a lot of arguments and debates, and one day he just disappeared. 6 months, 7 months later, he popped back up again, telling us that he had been in a horrific motorcycle accident going down the freeway. Now, when he got into the accident, he lost consciousness and he went to the hospital. He was put on a whole series of pharmaceuticals, to get him through the pain. He was in a coma for a
I'll
long
be right
period
back,
of
guys.
time. And in that coma, he lived a whole lifetime, vivid, unbelievable, incredible times, experienced sensations, feelings, completely 100% believed it was real, felt inspired to write a book about it when he came out of his coma. In that state, in that entranced state, everything he believed he was experiencing for real. It was all in his head. It's all something he was experiencing as a byproduct of pharmaceuticals and everything he was in while he was in a coma. At the end of the day, that could be you. You could be in that perception. You could be in any dynamic of situations in which you cannot infallibly justify that you aren't. And that's the thing. At the end of the day, you're relying upon fallible sense perception, that you're not deceived, that everything you're seeing is absolutely true and justifiable, even though it is axiomatic and cannot be absolutely infallibly justified. And you just have to live with that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but
It's
your
just the
statement,
nature of
right?
Wait,
You
you're
can't
reality.
using.
even you
Hold on,
can't
hold
even
on, hold on.
justify your
You're using.
statement.
Wait a second,
You
time
can't
out. You're
even
using a
justify your
coma.
statement
Wait,
you
hold on,
made
TRC. I'm gonna let you cook.
by
I'm gonna let
your
you cook.
own
Hold on,
assertion.
TRC. TRC, wait. I'm gonna let you cook. I just want to make sure I understand this. We're using a comatose patient to justify that I can't know anything.
Sure.
He's using an
All right, great.
example,
Go
but
ahead,
yeah,
TRC. Go ahead,
TRC's
TRC.
right. TRC's correct.
You guys
Uh,
believe we can't know anything. You're saying TRC is correct in that
like
or something else?
No,
so
TRC's
you're
saying that
so
even the statement that we can't know anything is also
you're
Oh,
axed
okay, okay.
over.
Sorry. Okay.
you're making
I gotta make
assertions
the
that you don't even have any basis to make.
okay. I
Because you
gotta
can't
make this
know, you
point
can't,
real.
because you can't,
Hold
all
on,
you can
Ben. Hold
say
on.
is, I have a justifiable faith claim. I have a justifiable belief that this is
That's all
true,
anyone
but that's
has.
all you
That's
can
all anyone
say.
has.
So my question is, do you have to be infallible to know something for sure? Because
Correct.
that seems what you're
Correct. That
saying,
is
that you have
correct.
to be infallible. So only
Yeah.
God can know
You have
everything
to
for
have
sure. So what you're telling me is
everything.
that
We can't know anything.
I'll
God
tell you
created
again.
beings.
If you
God
believe
created
you have
beings in his
infallibly,
image
hold
that would
on.
not have, knowing that they would have no certain knowledge of
All right.
anything. That's what you're telling
Here's the
me.
thing, dude. If you believe, let
That's
me tell you
crazy.
something real quick, real quick.
That's
Hold
crazy.
on, hold on. If you calm down. If you believe something
No, it's actually
infallibly,
Bob.
as in you can't be wrong, then the epistemology behind that, the thing you accepted behind that to accept that proposition must also be infallible. And the proposition behind that you accepted to justify the following proposition must be
No,
infallible.
the
All the way down the
propositions are not
chain,
infallible,
Wait,
all the
hold
way
TRC.
on.
down the
Yeah,
chain
I
until
don't
you
have to
get to the
believe.
base
I
rock,
got one more question.
That's
which
Is a
must
false.
coma
That's
also be
is a
fallacious
coma a
because
infallible.
I don't
is a
have to
coma a
believe
real
something
thing?
infallibly in order to know it's true. I just don't.
Yeah, exactly,
Is
exactly.
a coma
Your
a
Well,
claim
real
you
is
thing?
believe it.
false.
That's
You
the
Your claim
believe
is
it.
contradiction.
You
false.
don't
Your
know it.
claim is
You believe
false.
it. You
No, your
believe
No,
it.
claim
You
is
don't
you
know
just
false
it.
said
You
you
because
just
believe it.
said
God
being
created me
Self-defeating.
because
That's the problem.
God
It's
created me in
self-defeating.
his image.
Could I?
Therefore, I can ground my beliefs in the
Could,
revelation of God. I don't have to have infallible certainty of everything. I can
Yeah.
know what I know, and that can
yeah, but
have
you can't know it with absolute certainty. That's the point.
I can make
you
absolute truth claims on the
you
basis of what I know.
Exactly.
In that
You
story,
are
you
was
doing the
can't.
same. You are
You
doing the
hang
same
on, guys.
exact
Hang on.
thing. You're just
Hang on.
not
Could I
calling
say
Dude,
them
you
something?
gotta take a
absolute
break,
truth
man. Take a
claims.
breath. Holy
wait a
smokes.
second,
It's
wait a second. Hold on.
crazy.
Chris wants
Now
to
Take
speak.
a
Chris
breath.
wants to speak.
you
Chris wants to speak.
you can't know anything for sure as such, but all you have is all the information you have. And from the information we have, which we call reality, we have to make assessments from there. So surely we need to at least accept that as our constant as best we know it, and proceed with our discussion about God and everything else from what we can see, test, challenge, adapt.
Look, I don't know. I would just agree with Chris because Chris, when you say we can't know anything for sure, right? Which is what Smokey's saying too. It's like
Smokey's
that
saying
that claim by itself is itself a claim to truth. You know, when you
no, no,
say we can't know anything for sure, that is
Yes.
itself a claim.
no, no.
Okay,
What
hold on.
Yes.
what I'm
Let,
That's
saying
what
is
bro.
DRC
what
was
I'm
saying.
saying is we rather than arguing about the potential of us being wrong, we should be starting from the perspective of as best I can possibly ever establish from every avenue of definitions of logic of scientific testing. This is reality as I can show. Therefore, this is where I'm starting my discussion from.
Well, no,
Yeah, but
that's
even if
that's a
no, hold
whole
on.
other aspect of
Demonstration, hold on.
epistemology.
Testability was not valid enough in the claim of Smokey. Because if that's the case, then what are we arguing about mathematical addition? Like I said, reality demonstrates it, but he said no, you still can't know.
And that's why I'm trying to refine the discussion, because we can argue about whether we even exist to begin with, or we can say, well, if I don't exist to begin with, then there's no point in arguing whether I exist to begin with. So how about we assume that I exist? We assume that we're speaking English and therefore have a common reference point for words.
That's fine.
And we
That's an
proceed from
axiom.
there.
That's good. That's fine. That's an axiom. That's fine. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And we only have 3 unjustifiable starting points to reference anyway, so just pick one. It's okay. Fine. It's not a big deal.
Well, I got a question.
We actually believe in
Hold on.
God,
Let me just ask this question real quick. Here's what I don't understand. And for me, it's not a problem. Like, right? The whole concept of faith is that you don't know with absolute certainty. Why does it necessitate that I must know? Why does it necessitate? Yes, it is. Faith.
No, it's
Hold
not.
on. If
Not
you
what
knew
it
with
is.
absolute certainty, it wouldn't be faith.
Faith is being persuaded that something is true.
No.
That's what the Bible.
No.
That's how the Bible defines
No, faith
it.
is faith
Romans
is
7:21
faith is
Romans
trust.
4. No, it's not.
Faith
It's
is
not. Romans
trust that
4,
something is true. It's not knowing
being
it with
fully
absolute
persuaded.
certainty.
No, it's being fully persuaded.
Okay, being persuaded is not knowing something with absolute certainty.
Toronto,
I didn't say it.
Toronto, can I
fully
just say one thing?
persuaded. Fully
Faith
persuaded.
is not
Can I just
knowing
say one thing,
something with
Toronto?
absolute
Can I say
certainty.
one thing? So faith is not knowing in any way, right? That's what you said.
No,
right?
I said it's not knowing with absolute certainty. There has to be faith. It's literally in the word. Like, for example,
hold on, just wait. I got it. Okay,
it's literally in the word.
Hebrews. Wait, guys, can I just? I won't be long.
No, go ahead.
Hebrews 11:1 says the evidence of things not seen. What is evidence?
Yeah, so you can have evidence. That doesn't mean you know with absolute certainty that the conclusion you get to from the evidence is true.
What is evidence though?
Okay,
what it is?
Let me see if you can even understand. What did I just say?
Bro, I want to know what evidence is.
I'm saying no matter what the evidence is, you could be presented with whatever the evidence is. The conclusion you get from that evidence, you can't know with absolute certainty that conclusion is true.
What is the definition of evidence, bro?
Oh my gosh. Evidence is what you use to get to a conclusion. It's
evidence
empirical.
By definition in the dictionary is something that furnishes proof.
Okay, it's things that you use to get to a conclusion. For example,
something that furnishes
HHS,
proof,
take
brother.
a courtroom.
Proof.
HHS, take a courtroom.
Bro, I'm taking the dictionary, bro.
Hold on. HHS, in the courtroom, does the defense and the prosecution use the same evidence?
No.
Bro, this is not a trial with limited facts, bro.
No,
this is not a trial with limited facts. The
HHS, I'm showing you how evidence can lead to 2 different conclusions. I'm showing you how evidence can use evidence can come to 2 different conclusions, HHS. So if evidence can lead to 2 different conclusions, that would mean
is Hebrews 11:1 correct? Is Hebrews 11:1 correct?
What you just said doesn't prove absolute certainty. It just says that it just says faith is based off evidence.
Is Hebrews 11:1 correct? Why
Hebrews 1 is 11.
Bible?
It's not. I just said it's correct, and it's not talking about absolute certainty.
Answer about the Bible. So is Hebrews 11:1
I just said
correct?
It's not talking about absolute certainty.
Bro, is it correct about evidence?
It says you can use evidence. Bro, all it says you can use evidence to come to a conclusion. That's all.
Hebrews 11:1 doesn't say you can use anything. It says the evidence of things not seen. Hold on, Toronto.
Yes,
no,
the
wait
evidence
a minute.
of yes, the evidence of things not seen. Yes.
So there's evidence of the things not seen.
Fake.
So there's evidence.
Hold on.
There's proof of the things not seen.
Evidence. You use evidence to come to a conclusion. That
Bro,
conclusion you
dictionary
can't know with
definition,
absolute certainty.
Merriam-Webster, 1 Bravo. Evidence is something that furnishes
HHS,
proof.
I'm sorry,
Are you
bro,
saying
but
there's proof
this is
that
very
these
low
things are
tier,
there?
dude.
Bro, you don't even know
There's
the Bible.
evidence.
You tell about tears?
There's evidence things are there. There's evidence things are there.
And evidence furnishes proof, right? Does evidence furnish proof?
Evidence furnishes a conclusion that you come to, just
the
like
dictionary
in a
don't matter
courtroom.
to this guy. I'll tell you, nothing matters to these
Dude.
people. I want the world to hear this. The
There's a
dictionary
courtroom
definition
use-
now doesn't matter.
Does a courtroom
I'm good,
use the
Toronto,
same
you're good to go.
evidence? Does the courtroom use the same evidence to come to two different conclusions?
Look, I don't think.
You know, like, real quick. You know, I like the craziest thing about all of this to me is that this whole debate was just proving that just putting all the propositions out there that people are fallible. That's it.
Listen, until somebody proves to me they can debunk. Until somebody proves to me they can debunk. Until somebody proves to me they can debunk mathematical addition, I won't take you seriously.
Just let me finish. The whole point of this was the idea that people are fallible. All of this.
And by the way, that's not the definition for evidence. I'm gonna read it right here. Evidence is information. Evidence is information or material used to prove a conclusion is true or false. So for the chat, HHS lied about the definition.
I didn't. Oh, he called me a liar. Nobody talked.
Yeah, you did. You lied about the definition. I have the definition right here.
Nobody talked. Zons, I want my screen
using
share,
information and material used to prove, support, or demonstrate something is true or false. It's not saying that it's
because he called me a liar, and I got Merriam-Webster up right now on my screen.
Evidence is information, material.
This guy is a clown show.
Evidence is information or material that is used to prove, support, or demonstrate something is true or false.
This guy's a liar.
It's not saying something is absolutely objectively true. That's not what that means.
Wait till Zons comes back. Wait till he comes back.
Sure, go ahead. I have it right here. I can just put it on my screen. Evidence is information.
I have it on my screen from Merriam-Webster, bro.
Hold on. Do you think evidence? Let me see if HHS can even comprehend this. Do you think evidence means objective, 100% certain, infallible truth? Is that what you think that means?
Anyway, look, I don't think.
Or is evidence information, material that is used to prove a conclusion?
Wow.
So, okay. What does furnish mean? AJ says, "What does furnish mean?" Let's see if he even knows what furnish means. What does furnish mean?
Presents.
Okay, so it doesn't mean it's you just cooked yourself. It doesn't mean that it's objectively true or that it's true. It's 100% verifiably true or that you know with 100% certainty. All it means is that you present information, material to come to a conclusion. I'm gonna cook this
dude. Right? You said furnish. Wait, I can't wait. I love this. The only reason I'm not kicking you is to show your stupidity. So when it says furnish proof,
you don't even know.
Shut up, God! Look, man, this is my last time warning you, bro. This is my last time warning you because it literally says furnishes to provide what is needed. Please stop talking.
Yeah, what is needed for what? What is needed for what?
Proof, you idiot! I just had it on the screen to provide what is needed for proof. Proof. Oh my goodness, bro! This guy is a joke, bro.
Bro, you don't need.
Just get off my stage, bro. You are outside your mind, bro.
Dude, you don't, bro. I hate to break this to you, but you
hate to break it to you. You can't do anything. All you can do is talk trash,
you're very low tier, bro.
Hey, prove I'm low tier. Don't just talk trash.
I'm tired of you. Can two people use the same evidence and come to a different conclusion?
We are talking about the divine scriptures. I said, does God say faith includes proof? Does God say faith includes proof?
Can you come to a different conclusion reading scripture?
Does God say faith includes proof? You imbecile. No, I'm low tier. I'm not holding on. Does God say faith includes proof? Does God say faith includes proof?
No, it says evidence. Evidence isn't proof.
What is evidence, bro? What is evidence?
Information and material used
it's something that furnishes proof. It's on the screen. You are slow. You don't know English, bro.
Dude, you think evidence means proof? You literally are an idiot. No, it isn't. It's okay, then how do two people come to a different conclusion?
Bro, have a good night, bro.
How do two people come to a different conclusion with the same evidence?
Have a good night, bro.
Bro, do you think evidence means
English, bro?
Evidence means proof, bro.
Okay.
It's evidence is information used to furnish.
Bro, you don't know English, but have a good night, bro.
You don't even know epistemology, bro.
Have a good night, bro.
Bro, you think evidence means it's objectively 100% true?
Have a good night, Ben.
Bro, okay,
can we
run
talk
away,
Ben,
bro.
about
have a
Run
good
away.
night, bro.
Keep running, bro.
all
Keep
Ben,
running.
What is
have a
this?
good
What
night,
is this,
bro.
Toronto?
Keep running, bro.
Ben, hey Zon, check
Bro,
this
keep
thing.
running.
Ben, have a good night, bro. Just have
I
a good
wanted
night,
to
Ben.
say
Okay.
what faith
Ben,
is,
Ben,
Okay. Well, I'm
Don.
still here.
Yeah, that's
you have
cool,
a
bro. Just have a good night.
you have
Zon,
a
check this.
affirmative
Okay.
contradiction.
Wait,
I
did he leave?
apologize.
Anyway, I
I
wanted
got
to
hold
say
on. Let me
what,
apologize to the audience. I'll let you guys cook. I'm sorry, audience, but like I'm just not gonna tolerate somebody calling me a liar when I got the dictionary in my face. And that guy's
HSS.
just a troll
You see
anyway
what
to
the
me. But
problem
y'all go
is
ahead.
that Ben is claiming to worship a God that might not exist. That's not the God of the Bible.
No, listen,
exactly.
the Hebrews 11:1 literally says what it says. I pulled up the dictionary, and the guy's telling me we're not reading what's right on the screen. So I'm gonna mute back up so you guys can cook. But
I was gonna say it's just that I don't think Hebrews 11:1 is a definition, a dictionary definition of faith. But
no,
I think
it's okay.
Romans 4.
It's
I
okay. I'm
think
gonna let you cook. I'm gonna let you do your thing. Don't worry. I'm just saying that's what it says faith is. A lot of people use Hebrews 11:1. I have no problem with that. But now he's denying that what evidence means, and he's denying, and I'm not gonna tolerate that. But y'all go ahead and cook. I apologize for my loud raising of my voice though, but people come up here and think I'm their demi. Doesn't work that way. So y'all go ahead. I apologize.
Well, I was gonna say that because he's talking about how faith is just uncertainty, or you can't be certain about what you have faith in. But actually, what it says here is that Abraham believed God and it was counted unto him for righteous. This is the moment that Abraham was justified. So the belief here is later. Later, Paul talks about it here in 21. He says that being fully persuaded that what God had promised, he was able also to perform. Therefore, was imputed to him for righteousness. So, what Paul's saying here is that being fully persuaded is the definition of the word believe in terms of how Abraham was justified. So, being fully persuaded is being fully certain or fully convinced that what God had promised was true, right? So that's what faith is, not just uncertainty, not this thing that you can't be sure about, but this thing that you are sure about, regardless of whether or not there's objective proof or whatever. You're sure about it. You're convinced. You're persuaded fully that it's true.
Well, Toronto,
Yeah,
let me put it this way.
Romans 4:21 also says it too. To be
If
fully
God,
convinced.
Yeah,
if
that's,
God
that's
is,
what we
is
got here,
told
bro.
to
That's what we
be,
got on stage.
the scripture says that God cannot lie. So that means he is always truth revealing. So therefore, anything God says is necessarily true.
Oh
Now,
yeah, oh yeah.
we can be certain that everything the Bible says is true. Now, if someone wants to push back against that, I would ask them, well, then how can they be certain about what they're pushing it back against? How do they account for knowledge? Right? Because
Exactly.
you plug anything else into that equation, right? Like Smokey was talking about epistemology, right? So if your starting point is not God, then what is it? And if you can't give an answer, then you forfeit your right to speak because you can't justify knowledge or anything.
Exactly.
That's again muddling
Sorry
ontology
about
and
that.
epistemology together.
But Smokey, this is the thing. I still think your
No,
your
it's not.
epistemology is self defeating because you're
It's
saying
yes.
that there's uncertainty about any epistemology, but you're making that claim with certainty. And even if you say it's just about
It has nothing to
even if
do
you
with
say
whether or not a proposition is or is not true or ultimately true. It has nothing to do with that. It's about your perception, your ability to know it. See, like even like let's say I even agreed with you, like everything in the Bible is true. Whose interpretation is the infallible one? See, you don't get there even when you establish, like, even if I could give you an established truthful proposition there that like I could give you some sort of absolute certainty, even if I conceded that point, you still are going to use your own methodology to interpret your own hermeneutics, your own epistemic warrant, your own justifications to interpret what it means, which is why we have Toronto as a free grace and Kevin who's an OSAS
well, we
non-free
can have that
grace.
debate. No, but
And
Smokey, the thing
you're
is,
all using the same book. You're all coming
we
to
get it.
different conclusions.
Yes,
And
true. But Smokey,
none of you are infallible with those conclusions you have brought.
Smokey.
There's
But
the
the thing
point.
is,
So
That doesn't
yes.
make
But
the
the
book
thing is,
infallible.
hold on. The thing is, the fact that we're
that has
infallible
nothing to do
doesn't
with
mean.
that. I
Wait,
concede that for the sake of the
Smokey,
argument. It has
please,
nothing to
please,
do with
can I
that.
please say something? The fact that we're infallible doesn't mean that we can't have any knowledge, because that would be the
You
claim
can't
that
have
we're
any
infallible
infallible.
means.
No. You can't have
Pardon?
any Cartesian certainty, Toronto. It's not possible.
We
Not
can have
within your
Cartesian
paradigm.
certainty. Two plus two
That is
equals four.
reserved. That is reserved for the character of the
No,
divine.
dude,
You
two
can't
plus two
access
equals
that.
four. 2 plus 2 equals 4. We can be
By the
100%
way, a lot
certain
of this,
about it.
as soon as you guys talk about knowing something infallibly, you realize you're bordering on blasphemy every time
We're
you
not
guys do
trying to
this. You
say
get
that.
this,
Listen,
right?
dude.
You're
Listen,
putting
dude. What
yourself
are you
in
doing?
the same
Stop.
category as the
You know
divine.
what?
You realize
You
this,
won't.
No, we're
right?
You
not.
just yap.
You are.
You won't
You
listen. You
are.
won't
You're
No, we're
claiming
not.
to be able to
That's
know
what he does.
something
He says it all
infallibly,
night.
Wait, wait,
Ronald.
can I
which is
address
claiming
something?
infallible
He starts doing.
agency, which is
He
a
starts doing
characteristic
this.
of God
He starts
alone.
doing this
So
whenever he gets cornered. Like, dude,
Hey,
you
I
gotta
can't
listen.
Toronto,
believe it's
Toronto,
been this
Toronto.
hard to
Hang on,
convince a bunch
hang
of
on.
people that they could be
Smokey,
wrong about things.
Smokey,
Smokey,
Smokey.
can I
We're
Like
not
the
saying
idea of
Hang on,
anything
please.
convincing
Let
you
wrong,
me say
guys
dude.
that
something.
you're
Let me say
Wow,
fallible.
something.
dude.
Let
We
me
have
say
to
Wow.
go
something.
through this much
Let me say
difficulty to
something.
convince you guys that you're
Let me say
fallible. Like,
something.
No, dude,
really?
you just
Can I say
Really?
won't
something,
allow the
please? Can I say
conversation to move
something?
forward. You just start yapping over
Can I
everyone.
say
I would like to
something?
address
If I
that.
invite somebody over to my house and I say, "Hey, my dad said you can't touch this over here," am I now behaving as my father, or am I just speaking on his behalf?
What the hell are you talking about, dude?
You're basically saying if we try to read from Scripture and try to make claims from the Bible, which is God's word, that we're
You
somehow
have to
speaking
interpret
from divine.
scripture. You all do it.
Well, I'm interpreting my father when he says, "Don't touch that over there," and then I tell my friend, "Hey, don't touch that over there. My dad said so."
Okay.
Same
And
thing.
some people will interpret
Am
the
I my
same
father
passage
now?
and say, no, it's actually okay for you to touch it because you're saved by free grace. And once you just follow him once or believe him once, you're always
Wait,
locked in and you
wait,
don't
but the
have to
question.
follow
Okay,
that.
I asked the
Like,
question not
this is
about us,
all
but the text itself.
interpretation.
Wait, no,
You all have to
I
use
excluded
your
that. Wait, I
interpretation.
excluded that in my question to
Fallible.
you. I excluded that in my
Oh,
question to you,
God.
and you didn't answer. I said, even if our interpretation is fallible, can you please tell me if the text itself is infallible?
It wouldn't matter because your
But is it?
interpretation of it wouldn't be
But is
fallible.
it?
And
Can
therefore,
you?
your justification of
But
it
Dude,
can you
being
tell
You're
me
just
if
infallible
it
being
wouldn't be
is?
you're
My
infallible.
question
you're just being a prick.
is it?
Dude, the proposition that the
Okay,
text is
I agree.
infallible is a fallible proposition, so it doesn't matter.
So we
That's what
can't
you
go.
don't get.
So there's nothing. There it is. I rest my case. Even
Okay,
if we grant that our interpretation is
right.
fallible, you can't tell me if that text
no.
is divine if
This
it's
is the thing.
infallible.
Because even that epistemic warrant is fallible. It's all
Okay,
fallible, dude. You're fallible. Everyone in the room is
Smokey,
fallible. You could all
are
be
there,
He's not
interpreting things
answering the
wrong,
premise. I
believing
didn't ask
things
about our
wrong.
interpretation.
Why is
Did it
this so
again.
difficult for you
Why do
to
you keep
Smokey,
accept?
asking?
Smokey,
Why
can
do
you
you
let
keep
others
asking
Why
talk?
our
is it so
interpretation?
hard for you
Why
to
do you? Why is it so hard for you to tell me if the divine, if it's divine revelation,
um,
if it's infallible? That's
I
actually what's
don't
been
need
hard
to
all night.
affirm a truth proposition at all. I will just go again back to justified true belief. It
Smokey, do you
doesn't,
agree?
I have my own selection of epistemic warrants like you all do. None of
Yeah.
you
So
are
again, none of
infallible in your
you. I
selection of
didn't say
epistemic
I
warrants.
was, bro.
None of
Never have I
you.
said I was.
All
Not
right,
only are your
Smokey,
epistemic
Wow, bro, it's
warrants not
crazy, bro.
infallible, even the ones you believe you need to come to the conclusion. And that epistemology
If
you're using to
the
discern
text
that
is from the
isn't fallible.
divine, is it infallible? Let's try it like that.
It wouldn't matter because
No answer.
you are
No answer.
filtering
I
it through your
cannot get a
fallible
straight answer about
perception.
this
It
text,
does
There
bro.
matter.
could
It
be an
does matter.
absolute truth. You still can't infallibly know it. That's
Wait.
the whole point of this. This is
Smokey.
crazy.
Can
So what are you
God
trying to say? Wait,
can
This is
God
so
can
crazy.
God can God speak to His people, His
I
creation? Can
don't
He?
know, dude. Why do you keep asking me
But
truth
he's
propositions?
well, he's a
Why do you keep
wait.
if
asking
he's
me
perfect.
It's so
truth
insane.
If he's
propositions?
perfect,
Insanity. This is complete insanity, dude. Complete
This is,
insanity.
it is
it is
insanity.
insane.
I agree.
It
It's
is to me.
crazy. You
No.
guys are fighting so much to just admit you're fallible. It's crazy.
I
It
No.
is
granted you
crazy.
that. What do you stop lying?
Well,
I granted you that.
we're
I asked about the text itself. If it's from the
it
divine, is it infallible?
all
You won't answer.
all you're proving is that we're dependent
You
beings. That's all you're
fallibly
proving.
concluded that. What do you not get
We
about that?
we
I didn't
depend.
know.
You
Smokey,
I
Smokey.
fallibly
concluded it. Wow,
Stop
concluded that,
yelling. Stop
dude.
yelling,
I give
dude.
it up,
Stop
bro. I give it
yelling.
up. I give
It's
it up.
so
I give
simple.
it up.
Please stop yelling.
It is
Dude,
so
Yeah.
simple. You
listen,
won't answer.
Smokey. This is what
I'll
you're
take
trying
a
to claim,
break.
right?
I'll take a break. You guys say everything
Smokey.
you want to say.
Listen,
Go
Smokey,
ahead.
just shut up and
Smokey.
listen for a second.
This is what you're trying to claim, right? Humans can interpret scripture incorrectly. Therefore, nobody can ever know
Toronto,
they've interpreted
everyone in this
scripture.
room thinks you interpret it incorrectly.
All
Everyone
right,
in
that's
this
fine. That's
room
fine.
thinks you get it
Listen,
wrong.
we shut
Smokey.
your mouth for 1 minute,
Yeah.
dude.
Come on,
You
Smokey.
just said you would, right? Now you just can't. This is what you're trying to claim, that humans humans can interpret scripture incorrectly. Therefore, nobody can ever know they interpreted scripture correctly. But the second one doesn't follow from the first one. In the same way that humans can do math wrongly, Does it follow that therefore nobody can know that 2 plus 2 equals 4? It doesn't. Like humans, like let's try this another similar one. Humans can do math wrongly. Therefore,
Put
nobody
incorrectly.
can know 2
Wrongly is not gonna
plus
put incorrectly.
2 equals 4. Okay.
There's
There you
an
go.
E after the L there for
There you go.
wrongly.
Oh, is it? Oh, anyway. Humans can do math incorrectly. Therefore, nobody can know 2 plus 2 equals 4. Is this true? Is this true, Smokey? Because that's the same thing in what you're saying here. It's the same logic here as here. So is this true, Smokey? Now he's quiet. Now he's like, oh, now he has nothing to say. Your epistemology is self-defeating, Smokey. Just admit it. And this is what he'll do. When you start explaining it to him that it's self-defeating, he'll either pretend he's not here or he'll just start talking over you, yelling, screaming at the top of his lungs. It's absolutely obscene how this person
Like it's an
acts like in a
illusion.
debate.
You might be in a simulation, Toronto. It's an illusion. It's an illusion.
Okay, can I offer
You could
something?
be in a
to Smokey
coma,
right
Toronto.
Can I offer?
Wait, you're
something to Smokey
presupposing
right quick?
comas, bro. How do we know comas are real?
Right.
Go ahead, Randy.
Infinite skepticism. It's self-defeating. It really is.
I am currently sharing Dave Erbum chapter 11.
Okay. 1 second.
Right quick. And I just want Smokey to know that as Catholics, this language here in paragraph 11 is where we draw our epistemic justification for the inspiration and inerrancy of Scripture. It's right here in 2 paragraphs for you on the screen.
Smokey, are you still there? Maybe he dropped off because of maybe his battery.
Maybe a phone issue again, possibly.
He's muted. Smokey, did you mean to mute
Maybe
yourself?
it's not a phone.
Maybe he's just gone. Give him a break. So, what was your?
He's gonna come back and just pretend that no one ever said anything. That his arguments hasn't been refuted, and act like. And then when you explain why he's wrong, he's gonna talk over you and yell and scream. That's what he does, dude. That's what he does.
Well, but the problem is, and again, I don't want everybody to start yelling at me at once when I say this, but to my mind, his argument hasn't yet been refuted, right?
It has. It
Because
absolutely has. It's been self-defeating. It's shown.
Yeah,
if he
self-defeating
says
and illogical.
if he says his epistemology, we can never know our epistemology is true because we're infallible, then that principle itself cannot be known. So it's self-defeating. His claims are self-defeating.
Yes.
So
His
this
worldview has a
claim.
performative contradiction.
This is Romans 1. Romans 1:21. No. We just suppress the truth and unrighteousness. That's just
Smokey. It's interesting. I if you could put Toronto's syllogism back up on the screen, Smokey, is that what you are saying? What Toronto just pointed out to you?
Toronto's got another syllogism. Isn't that cute?
It's not a syllogism, dude. Anyways, be quiet, man. You're a fool. You can't disprove the one I gave you.
Toronto's got another syllogism. That's wonderful. Isn't that cute?
Look, we're just showing the logic of Smokey's claims, how it's illogical. Could you put it back up?
Yeah, I liked it. Thank you.
Okay.
I like you, Toronto.
Who in the room?
Gives you a hard time.
Can I get a tally from everyone in the room? Who in the room is infallibly correct on their doctrine? How many we got here?
Which doctrine?
Well, you're avoiding the argument.
The doctrine you believe. Which of you? Hold on. Which of you infallibly have the correct doctrine?
It's just me, Smokey. I'm the only one.
Okay, thank you, Random. Appreciate it.
Anyway, Smokey, listen. Let's look at this. Look at what we put here. This is what you seem to be claiming. Humans can interpret Scripture incorrectly, therefore, nobody can ever know they have interpreted Scripture correctly. Seems like that's what you're saying, right? Is that what you're saying?
Hello?
I apologize. I'm making a tea right now. Yes, the infallible proposition, claim to infallible knowledge about any proposition is possible for a fallible agent. I don't know how many times I need to repeat it. That is the answer.
Well, just
No, no, no. Okay, okay.
do you
So
agree with what he wrote on
does
the screen, right?
does this also work in your worldview? Humans can do math incorrectly, therefore nobody can know 2 + 2 = 4.
Can you do me a favor? Just do your argument because I'm going to grab a tea. Just do your thing.
Smokey,
And
do you
My argument is
Smokey, do you
is
hang on.
Smokey.
Smokey, do you drive over a bridge every day? Or should I say, do you drive over bridges? You know what that's based on, right?
No, don't even.
So you
don't
say
even go
you
there,
make a
man.
claim up here. You're making truth claims, but then you're behaving like they don't. You're behaving like us. You're behaving like truth does matter and logic and mathematics does matter. So I'm just trying to understand. You're making claims here, but you don't even really hold to these in your daily life. You're going to go on a bridge. If you're going to accept the first claim there that on the screen and then Toronto's second claim there, because that's basically the same thing, you can't trust bridges because they could just collapse on you.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'll mute up. Sorry, Toronto. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. It's just like
by the way, I already answered
avoiding
that
it.
earlier. I don't need to have definitive, absolute, infallible justification for a proposition in order to value it to be true and therefore adopt it as true. So I don't need to have absolute infallible epistemic warrant. I don't need that. Like just like how you said,
No,
Neil Dragon, when you were talking about, I need to believe in this kind of reality because I need to believe it's real. It was all an emotional argument. You set a value on it, and that's fine. But that is what it is.
No, we're not doing that. We're just saying that if you make the claim that nobody can know their epistemology is correct because they're infallible, that claim is itself.
Nobody can be infallible. That's the argument. Nobody can be infallible. That's the argument.
You have to interrupt.
That's the argument. That's it. Nobody's infallible.
I know. Yes, yes, I understand. So what you're saying is you seem to be saying that if we're infallible, we can't have any knowledge. And if that's the case, then the claim that because we're infallible, we can't have any knowledge is itself.
You can't have any Cartesian certainty. You can't have any absolute infallible.
This guy has to interrupt.
I'm answering you.
No, you're not. You're not.
You keep shoehorning in a category that's unnecessary.
No. Listen, bro. Listen. Once again, you're saying that because we're infallible, no knowledge can ever be certain 100%, and that claim is itself not a claim that we can prove certainly.
Right. That's even based upon probability. Yep, absolutely. Because it's based
your
upon
your entire argument is self-defeating. That's the
point. Logically, it may not have any foundational base of absolute knowledge. That's fine. Because again, that's why I keep bringing back the value metric. You guys don't like. You guys will see. I've given like 3 or 4 examples of this.
Can I offer something right quick, Smokey?
That's the problem. You can't account for knowledge. So how are you speaking right now?
Exactly. You're trying to move it away from the fact that
I don't need it, even if I accept that knowledge. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Smokey.
Obviously.
Smokey. With respect to 2 + 2 = 4, if I gave you a synthesis of Descartes and Kant and said a priori justification of the predicate is contained within the subject, would that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, so again, my claim would be I don't need empirical evidence or sensory observation to know a truth. It is true in all possible worlds.
I get what you're saying.
Okay.
And again, there is an epistemic pathway
there is an epistemic
that
component,
one has to follow.
But I am arguing a priori justification.
That's what I'm saying.
Using Descartes and Kant in a single sentence, right? So Descartes says truths of reason can't be doubted once understood, right? Amen, right? And Kant argues for a necessary a priori truth, right? I've argued with you before.
He's not check Discord.
Hold on. I've argued with you before, and I've argued with JJD before about transcendental truth and what that means. Now, I am simply arguing from transcendental truth as a priori justification of the predicate, which is contained in the subject of 2 + 2 = 4.
Smokey.
So even
Smokey.
giving all. Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to ask a simpler question.
Wait, let him answer. Hold on, let him answer.
Oh.
Let him answer. Random asked something, didn't he?
Well, he was proposing a paradigm.
I was proposing
priori
axioms
knowledge that's valuable.
from which to further have the conversation.
And you did
Sorry, I
base
wasn't
it,
following.
and you did base it a priori. I appreciate you specifying that. So, and that again is based upon that subjective position. It's about the agent as well.
I disagree.
Right.
Now hold on one second, right? So
Okay.
if we commit to a priori justification of the predicate, that's objective truth. That's the definition of objective truth.
A priori justification of the predicate.
Yeah, I think the fact that you're you're making it a priori self-justified, self-containing. I think you're still inside that epistemic, weak epistemic foundation.
I am literally arguing for the transcendental nature of an objective truth.
But we'll see. Even random. Here's the thing: what you're arguing for is not what I'm arguing about. What you're arguing for,
isn't it?
Hold on, it's not. It's not because here's the difference. Hold on, just let me answer. Let me answer. Let me answer.
In this moment, hold on. In this moment, I'm only arguing for the symbols 2 + 2 = 4. That's all I'm making no other argument.
All right, I get this. Random, what you're arguing is for the existence of a truth. Fine. Yes. That has not been what has been argued tonight at all. This is about
what are you talking about?
This is about the agent's capacity to know infallibly any truth. Are you going to die? This is what I kept saying. Even if the truth did exist, don't interrupt.
Are you going to die?
Don't interrupt me, Neil. Don't interrupt.
I agree. Yeah. Let him finish. I agree. Let him finish.
Even if I conceded you that there's, from my paradigm, even a justified true belief that there is an absolute truth out there, this is completely a separate category. And I understand your argument. You are arguing for the existence of an absolute truth. I am arguing for an agent's capacity to be infallible in its knowledge of it. Because its acceptance of a proposition being true is subject to evidence being provided, which can change over time.
Yeah, but that proposition is
like there was a time, by the way, you guys may not know that.
I'm not arguing anything about God right now.
There was a time.
This is not about God.
I understand. I understand. You are arguing as to whether or not an absolute truth exists.
Neil's question, I thought, was a good one. Neil, what'd you say there?
I asked if he knows he's going to die.
Get to the bedrock of that. I have you can keep asking this. Like, I'm not going to give the same answer. Are you not?
Yeah. Reasonable.
Because I've answered this question. Hold on. Because I've answered this question 20 times during this debate.
Is that correct?
Hold on. Let me answer, dude. Let me answer. It was a question to me, not you, dude. Be quiet.
Yo, you don't run Jack around here.
Again, dude. I
literally said justified.
Was the question to you?
Certain about anything. Right? Because you said
was the question to you?
You said we didn't hear your answer. Are you listening to the words coming out of your mouth?
That's why I started talking.
That's why I started talking. You could just answer and not say we don't know what your answer is that you said 20 times.
You know what it is?
Track, bro. You have a justified true belief, but you can't be certain.
Thank you. Oh my God, we finally bridged the gap.
I was trying to say the right thing, so I was trying to say the right thing the whole time.
Thank God.
I actually was trying to say what you said. Is that accurate? Can you just tell me if that's accurate? I was trying to say what you said.
Thank you.
Is that accurate?
That's accurate. Well done.
Thank you. Now I didn't have to shut up because you said it's going to be the same answer. See what happens when people listen?
Neil Dragon will ask me a truth proposition over and over and over and over again, like he hasn't gotten the same answer every single time. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that incredible?
Hey, can I ask a question?
Do you know for sure or not?
Can I ask a question to kind of maybe demonstrate what I think Smokey's point is? So let's take something that isn't religious. take a scientific
Here's the thing:
claim.
you don't even
I
know
did. I
you're
did
going to
math.
die. By the
Cheevers.
way,
Cheevers.
you
I
don't
did
even know
math.
you're going to die. God, what you guys believe the rapture or some version there, and God can come back? You won't die. You don't know
Wait,
you're going to
When
die,
Cheevers
right?
was talking, now you
You
didn't
don't
want to
know
be
you're going to
interrupted. I want to
die.
respond to Cheevers,
All
right?
right.
Because you said,
Yeah,
so I want to
Okay. All right.
respond to
Whatever.
Cheevers,
Go
right? So
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Cheevers,
Go ahead.
Cheevers,
I
what
tried
actually
to make
happened
this.
was Cheevers. Hold
Matt,
on. The what started was I literally said 2 + 2 = 4. That's how I started. I just want you
and
to
I
have that.
tried to bring it back there, and I think I
Yeah,
destroyed it.
that's how literally that's how we got here. But go ahead, Cheevers. I didn't want to interrupt you. I just wanted you to know because you said, why don't we try something else? My whole thing was 2 + 2 = 4.
Yeah,
But
I
I was
was
told
Yeah,
giving
we can't know
I
that.
think
evil
that
that and Quine and back to Gettier problem, and yeah, I'm
yeah,
not
I
gonna get there.
the reason I'm just going with a different one is to give it just a different example. I think that one's kind of been I mean, I've heard you guys talk about the math example for a while. I just want to give something that's less to do with like what we might call logical necessity and more to do with something that is we can all agree based on evidence, right? So if I say molecules exist, do you know or believe that to be true?
But David, but when you're invoking propositions, you're speaking from a worldview. So are you talking about the not God worldview, or are you talking about the God worldview? How are you
It
interpreting
from your
molecules?
worldview, Kevin.
Yeah, so from the Christian worldview, yes, molecules exist.
Do you know that or do you believe that?
No, we know molecules exist.
How, but given Christianity, you know that molecules are necessarily how God's creation works. Why is that the case?
Wait, so is anything testable, or are we just throwing out the testability of
No, it's
anything?
just testable, right? So my simple point
Okay,
is there's nothing
so
logically necessary about
okay,
molecules
so if
existing, right?
if anything is testable, then what reason do I have to say that 2 + 2 will never equal 4?
I'm not going to get to your math example just yet. I want to operate within the one I'm giving to just demonstrate
Okay,
a
I'm just
point.
gonna go to mute, man. Y'all can go ahead, guys. I'm gonna go to mute.
Okay. So Kevin, you said you have knowledge of it. I think you can only say that you have not knowledge of it because you're not basing it on anything in scripture. You're not basing it on anything that God has said. You're basing it simply on mankind's looking into creation and giving you what they're finding. Do you agree that that's possibly not true? Would you agree to that?
No.
You think molecules are like they're necessary. They have necessary existence. It's not even
That,
possible for scientists to be wrong about that.
well, no, it's been observed.
How do you know that?
Microscopes.
Have you observed them?
Wait,
I,
this is wild. So when I
Yes,
observe
I
2 + 2
have.
= 4, I can't.
Hold on a second.
This is
Can you
crazy.
focus just on my example for a second?
Why
Because
is mine so so bad? I don't
it's
understand why
working
mine's trash.
within logical necessity. And I think that's hurting us. My point is here. I'm talking about something that we can all agree, or at least I think we should be able to agree,
no, no, but
isn't
David,
logically
the problem is
necessary.
that you're assuming there's equality here. That like everyone's starting at a neutral position. Like, yeah, it's true we all have the same facts, but we have a worldview which we interpret those facts
Kevin,
from.
I'm operating within your worldview. I'm operating within Christianity. I'm asking
No,
you,
no, I know, but
even
when you're bringing
given,
Smokey into the conversation, he has a different worldview.
I, I'm just saying because I agree with Smokey's ideas, even though I'm a Christian. My point
Why?
is,
That's not, but
well,
that's not the
Kevin,
biblical
I'm trying to
worldview,
get to
David.
that. That's because I'm making the argument. Um, my point is, I'm bringing up an example that isn't logically necessary because I think that's kind of causing a lot of confusion. I'm giving something that, even given the Christian worldview, there's nothing necessary about molecules existing. It's possible for those to not exist. I don't see any way to argue that those are logically necessary. And so, I mean, I don't know why that would be very contentious. And so, my point is, regardless, this is to kind of emphasize what I think Smokey has been repeatedly saying, regardless of whether or not I can know molecules exist, it does not change whether or not they actually do, right? Molecules could exist or not exist. My confidence that they exist or lack thereof does not dictate the truth of whether or not they do. So again, when you're accusing someone like Smokey of being a relativist, this isn't relativism. It's not saying whether or not there is or isn't objective truth. There can be an objective truth. It's simply about whether or not you can know that objective truth. So that's my point about like a scientific claim, or let's say historical facts. there are things in history we don't necessarily know happened, but we believe do, right? And my point is, well, that doesn't actually change whether or not that historical thing happened. Does
But is
that
there
kind of
anything
make
we
sense?
can know? Is there anything we can know? Smokey seems to say there's nothing we can know.
Well, I would argue, I think
Infallibly.
I would,
Don't forget the qualifier.
Infallibly, excuse me. My
Yeah, no,
apologies.
you're good. No, that's good. It's just throwing it in there. You're good.
yeah, I would say I don't think the type of Cartesian certainty that we're talking about, no, I don't think that's something that we're talking about. If you
So
mean
not
no,
even mathematical addition we can have certainty of.
assuming that logic is an objective reality, sure. But if you don't assume that, then how do you know whether or not that is something that has to exist? Is kind of the point.
Wait, no,
You're kind
does
of,
it exist? Like, does it exist? Let's start
I
there.
believe
Does
it
it
does.
exist?
Yeah, I
Okay, can I
believe
know
it
that for
does.
sure?
I don't think you can have Cartesian certainty. I think you can
So
believe
I
that it
cannot
does.
know. Okay, let's just ground it right here for a second. So I cannot be certain. I'm just gonna try to make sure I got this. I cannot be certain that 2 + 2 = 4.
No, you can be
What?
certain
Thank you.
if
David,
okay,
what? What are you talking about?
guys, you're not
This is
understanding.
David.
the-
This is ridiculous. What are you talking about?
guys. You're
Dude, 2
not
+ 2 has
following.
always been 4. It will always be 4. Like the reason
Kevin,
why 2 + 2 is always 4 is because God grounds
Maybe a man
two-ness.
can be a woman.
okay,
Ugh.
guys, I'm trying to explain this. When I'm saying that,
No, you're doing just fine.
Yeah,
okay,
Please let him
well,
finish. Please let him finish. Okay, let's just let him finish. Go ahead.
David, come
yeah.
on, man.
So, Kevin, please stop, man. Like, we obviously just disagree, but no,
No, but
it's saying,
it's
Kevin,
self-contradictory.
come on, no,
Well,
it's
you gotta
not.
let him. You gotta let him again.
Yeah, let me
Please
finish
let
what I'm saying,
Cheevers
please.
finish his statement, guys.
When I'm saying that something, it's assuming that God grounds logic, right? If I assume God grounds logic, yes, I can say, well, given that condition, these things are true realities, right? And I believe that to be the
Right.
case. I believe that God exists. What I'm saying is I don't have Cartesian certainty of those things. I'm
You
saying
don't have
that,
to.
yeah, there's an element of faith required
Matt,
here,
Matt,
and I
hold on one
think
second.
that's sort
Matt,
of the point.
Matt, hold on 1 second. Right? Did you not hear the part where I gave Smokey Descartes, and especially I gave him the idea of Descartes' methodological doubt, which proves 2 + 2 becomes certain, Cartesian certainty, right? Descartes did that. I didn't do that. God didn't do that. A man named Rene Descartes did that.
Well, the thing is, random, that applies to your local universal limited perception. That's as far as that's as far as that can go.
Descartes gives the foundational rule, right? Whatever you perceive clearly and distinctly must be true when you mentally grasp that 2 units plus 2 units equal 4 units. The idea is so self-evident and illogically necessary that it forces assent. That is Cartesian certainty.
Inside the
forcing
limitations of the
assent is
immediate
Cartesian
paradigm.
certainty.
Here's the thing, random, and this is why it gets messy even with mathematics. And I made this example earlier about the difference.
Yeah, see, this is why I don't like the whole math
between
thing,
I don't like it either because it's a bad
as
way
a
to talk about
mathematician, this
epistemology.
conversation makes me itchy.
It's a bad way to talk about epistemology because all you're doing is
Random, you think it's
trying
bad?
No. It makes me itchy. I don't think it's bad. It just makes me itchy.
It's because you get
which part? 2 + 2 not equaling 4. 2 + 2 equaling 4.
No.
So this is limited.
Hold on 1 second.
Right. Okay.
In my training, okay, I am a set theorist, and in my idea of set theory, I am entirely in re and not anti-rem. I don't believe that a priori things exist to create systems. I believe the systems are of themselves. Now, that's my mathematical argument. My theological argument is entirely anti-rem. It's never in re, right? So me conforming what I believe about math to what I believe about God that makes me itchy. It makes me itchy.
No, I'm not even trying to. I haven't even tried to combine the two. We're talking about the certainty of 2 + 2 equaling 4. I haven't even tried to ground anything else yet because we were told we can't know that. We cannot know certainly that 2 plus 2 equals 4. I haven't used anything theological.
Well, here's the difference for me. Okay, we use the symbols, the number 2, and the number 4, to describe 2 units and 2 units and 4 units, right? That system exists outside of that symbology, right? So again, the trap is one of semiotics, not one of.
Well, I literally said mathematical addition. Like mathematical addition is what I said. Like that's how I actually framed it. If you go all the way back to the beginning,
which is why I tried to give the example of Descartes and Kant to Smokey just now.
Right.
Well, here's the problem. If we can't be certain that 2 plus 2 equals 4, then nothing is intelligible. Like if everything is subject to change, or like for example, like if tomorrow down can become up and up can become down, then we live in a chaos world where nothing can really be known.
No, see, that's not true. So again, I brought up St. John of the Cross and the semiotic trap before, right? We are on a panel sharing language with one another, and we are using an identical system of semiotics to describe a concept, which is the number 2, which represents 2 units, plus the number 2, which is another 2 units, equals the number 4, which is another 4 units. 2, 2, and 4 are symbols that we use between us to describe a concept.
Yeah. So before the English word 2 existed, the concept of 2 has always been true, right?
Amen. A dinosaur walked past 2 trees. That same dinosaur walked past 2 other trees. That dinosaur walked past 4 total trees, and that happened long before 2 plus 2 equals 4.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that if it's possible for 2 plus 2 to actually be 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, then you run into a problem, because then there's no way to know anything. If things are just always subject
I'm
to
on
change.
HHS's side entirely. I'm not on Smokey's side at all, but I understand Smokey's argument.
No, I get it too, but it's self-contradictory.
What exactly is the contradiction?
Because you're making propositional truth claims while denying that they could be
true.
I know
I'm not. I'm making belief claims. So you can't even understand what I'm claiming.
Okay. So when you claim nothing can be known, is that a claim?
It's a belief. Everything's a belief. I believe things. I don't infallibly know anything. I believe things because I'm a fallible agent. Are you infallible?
I'm not infallible, but God
Okay,
is.
well then you can't know anything infallibly. It's that simple. It's not hard.
KBD, is God's, even if you're fallible, is God's word infallible?
Absolutely.
Wow, I got an answer. Thank you.
So when God, whatever God says is necessarily
and
true.
you infallibly know that.
Well, what else?
Just like the Muslims infallibly know their scripture came from their infallible
Well, here's
God.
the thing, because the Muslim worldview
God's
breaks
speech
down.
is infallible.
Well, who's God? Which God? Do you have infallible epistemology to that?
Well, Smokey.
And by the way, if you guys could prove it, why doesn't everyone believe it? If you guys could prove it infallibly.
Wait, you just said everybody's fallible. I didn't ask about everybody's opinion.
Well, they are, right?
I said it's
That's
the word
my
of God.
point. Yeah.
See, notice you keep talking over me when I'm trying to drive home my point.
Were
See, you won't let me talk. Did you see what happened?
If you had infallible reasoning,
and then you stopped me from talking. Did you notice that?
Well,
what I said was, my question was, if that scripture is, this is what I asked you, if that scripture is from the divine, is it infallible? Now, in KBD's example, he believes the scripture is divine. So in his worldview, I'm asking, hey, if that scripture is divine, if you translate the question, is it infallible? Which is why he said yes. You won't answer that question.
Even if it was, your capacity to get to that conclusion is fallible. Your pathway to get to that conclusion is fallible. It's that simple. You guys keep drawing back to whether or not something is true, whether or not something is infallibly true.
Listen,
something could be true. This has nothing to do with your ability to know it.
It's either the case that the Bible is divinely inspired.
But you're talking about Cartesian certainty, which, by the way, I would think a characteristic reserved for God alone. It seems borderline.
What's the correct answer? Either the Bible is infallible or it's not.
It doesn't matter. That's a truth proposition. It has nothing to do with the capacity to know whether or not. It just has nothing to do with the argument.
He won't ask you if God.
You guys keep asking about a truth proposition, whether or not it's true.
I have a justified belief that I can't be certain.
You guys keep asking. You notice how no one has asked.
You will never answer that question, KBD. You will because you're a Christian. Neil
there's no way.
Random will because he's a Christian. Zons will because he's a Christian. I will because I'm a Christian. All I said was, is the speech of
you're
God
going to
infallible?
answer it
If it's
because you're
divine, he won't. He won't answer.
you're going to
I
answer
wasn't
because you're
included.
epistemologically incompetent. That's why you're going
Smokey,
to answer
do the
Good
because
laws
one.
of
you
logic?
don't
Great.
understand what has
Even though
been
you
being
said the
said this
divine is the
entire
only infallible
time.
agent, I asked if that divine is speaking, is it infallible? And you still won't answer. Yet
That's
you're
it.
Can I
telling
That
me
say?
I'm
is a truth
epistemologically jacked up.
proposition that
Can I?
even if it was objectively true, my capacity to know that would not be infallible.
You
That
said
you just
earlier in our
Can I?
keep
conversation that
stepping
the speech of
over
the
the
divine, you seem
answer.
to be stepping over yourself. You said earlier that the only thing that could be
You're just
infallible
not
is
getting
Zans,
it,
God.
Zans,
dude.
can
No,
I
You're
you
jump
just
in there
will
not
and
not
try to
let
getting
me
it.
response to
finish
this
because you
maybe?
keep interrupting.
Because this
You
is ridiculous.
said that earlier in the conversation that the only infallible agent is the divine. So I asked, is the speech of the divine infallible? Yet you refuse to answer in any capacity.
What'd you say, Kevin?
I
Okay, are you asking me to make a knowledge claim?
I want to offer one last thing, and
See,
then I'm
because
going to
this
dip.
is what he's
I
just
want
not
to,
getting it.
Smokey. Hold on, Smokey. I want to offer one last thing, and I'm going to dip. Right. I tried to give
I'm
you
right behind you.
Descartes. I tried to give you Descartes' methodological proof because in that proof he makes a theological claim. Okay, Descartes literally argues himself that God would not allow our minds to be fundamentally deceived about things we perceive as clear and distinct truths. Now, that's Descartes doing that, right? And I believe that very same thing. If we believe in God the way we believe in God, then it is impossible for us to believe that he would deceive us about things that we perceive as clear truth. Yeah?
And yet
Does
he
that make
presented
sense?
the thought experiment of the Cartesian demon.
The evil demon, which we call today brain in a vat. Trust me when I tell you, dude. I got Descartes on the brain. Right? Today we call that same argument brain in a vat. It's not the evil demon argument.
It's
right?
it's the solipsism. It's the hard solipsism argument.
Yeah,
And
it's
it
the hard
does, if
solipsism.
anything, points
But
to the
he
limitation
overcame he
of
overcame the
perception.
evil demon scenario with the theological argument. That's what he did.
I think that's up to epistemic debate.
No, it's not. It's what
Okay.
Descartes literally did. I'm telling you what
No,
Descartes'
again,
argument actually is.
that's fine if that's what he followed to get there, and that's fine. And with the establishment of some sort of truth, this is again about the agent itself and its capacity and its limited capacity and its fallible capacity. That's all it is. I don't know why this is so hard. Even basing that reason and getting to that proposition, there's still a series of axioms you're operating from to even do that. It's fine. And that applies to the common local realm of which you can apply it to and can't definitively necessarily apply beyond that.
Right, but post Descartes, right? Giuseppe Piano, I don't know how much you know about the history of logic and math, right? But Giuseppe
It's been a
Piano
while.
literally gave the same sort of proof, removing the theological constraint, right? So you could just go read Piano's proof.
Okay. Even if I conceded, let's say I even conceded the existence of the absolute proof of that theorem. Now what? Now what to answer my challenge?
I have Cartesian certainty that 2 + 2 = 4.
Okay, that's good. All right.
Well, random. What do you
asked
think?
how I got
think
from here to
therefore
there.
I am
I showed you in detail how I got from here to there using two incredibly famous mathematicians and how they come to Cartesian certainty of how 2 + 2 = 4, Descartes and Piano. Right?
His phone might be acting up.
That's fine.
I could respond with, have you heard of the evil God argument? I forgot who came up with it. Well, I don't think it was Platina. It was someone relatively recent. The evil God argument. It's a variation off of the Cartesian demon. Have you heard of it before? Random?
I don't think I have. If it was developed in the last 20 years, that's way past my training. So.
Yes, definitely developed with. Actually, I would say developed probably within the last 10 years. Actually,
yeah. So that's past my training, and I don't follow. Like since 2014, I have not followed developments in mathematics.
So the way you presented, and this would be, I guess, the counterpoint to what you, and I'm trying to, I'm going to represent it as best as I can, which I understand what you're saying. So Descartes is putting this idea that the God would not allow for his reality to be deceived, and therefore there's an absolute, or at least good truth, if not absolute good truth. And the issue with
transcendentally to the system, outside of the system itself.
And this is the idea that good exists. It's a thing, it's a category in reality. This is something that people seek after, even almost like innately. There's some sort of absolute truth that
How do we
grounds
know
and
what good
justifies
is?
this.
How do
Well,
we
hold
even
on.
know what it is?
Hold on. We're getting there.
We don't even have certainty. So how do
Hold
you know what
on.
good
Hold,
is?
calm
He's
down.
presupposing things
Calm
and
down.
then using them to say nothing.
Yeah,
Well, we
you're
all have
asserting
to do that.
presuppositions.
We all
You're
have to do
throwing
that.
a
We all have
dart
to do
into
that.
outer space, brother.
Can
Outer
you calm
space.
down? Can you calm down?
This is
Can you
crazy.
calm down?
Smokey literally,
Let me get through the
just
argument.
sat there and
Let me
listened to
get
me
through the
prattle
argument.
on for minutes and minutes. I'd like to hear what Smokey has to say, please. I really would. He listened to me prattle on for a long time, and so did the rest of you. Can we just please hear what Smokey has to say?
Thank
I'd
you.
love that.
Appreciate that. Thank you. So the evil God paradigm is the idea that God would want to allow for the existence of good so that there is something in existence to maximize suffering. This contradicts the idea of why would there be good without a God? Because the idea is, well, God must be good if there's good, and that's, the suffering is just a byproduct. The converse of that is the underdetermination thesis of the other idea, that God is evil and allows for good in the world in order to maximize bad and suffering. So that's the contrary paradigm, the underdetermination for that type of view from Descartes, to have Cartesian certainty. And this is, by the way, the very idea of the underdetermination principle, which I'm sure you probably heard of before, is that with any given set of propositions or evidences, different conclusions, at least two, can usually be drawn.
Yeah, but that's why I sort of use the escape hatch to get to piano formulas, which you should investigate.
Mind if I jump in on
I'll
this?
look into that a little more. I'll go read up on that. Actually, random.
Hello?
If you want to send me, if you want to send me
An
any
evil
resource on
God is an
Discord, you're welcome to do
oxymoron.
so.
Evil God is an oxymoron, by the way.
Well, it just switches the ontological primary from good to evil. Really, is all it does. It's just the
We don't
contrary
even
to
know. We
underdetermination.
have no way of knowing. We can't measure
That's
it.
kind
What
of the
are
point.
we basing
That's
it
kind of
on?
the point. That's why like the Cartesian claim, even an absolute Cartesian proof or claim based upon a certain evidential idea, even if something as good and transcendental as good itself, still can have an underdetermination thesis to quite the contrary. That's kind of just the point. That's all. It's not anything definitive. That was kind of the argument. That's all. It wasn't disproving anything. Just presenting the idea that there are other philosophical thoughts that also can claim just as much epistemic warrant as the one claimed to be deductive. That was the only point. Anyway, I'll be right back. Go ahead.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, pardon. You guys can hear me?
Yeah.
Hey guys,
Great.
I'm getting
Awesome.
ready to drop. I'm gonna probably transfer everybody over to Zanz's channel. I have it set up on my feed. I'm gonna drop the link in my chat as well. I think I'm gonna call it a night. I think I've exhausted the conversation to the best of my ability.
Thanks, AJ. It was fun, man. You have a good night.
You too. You too. God bless you all. And sorry I didn't read the gospel tonight for everybody on my channel. God bless.
Read the Discord quote where I talk about being giddy, HHS, because I thought that was funny.
Cool. So can we get back onto the relationship between God and goodness?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, like, at least from my perspective, descriptively, the definition of good is is that which defines God's will, right? So, like that. So, like, if God will.